Dodge dealers. Come see our great product lineup and the nice Dodge dealers who sell it.
Steve Stone down on beautiful Wrigley Field. All looks good to be back in Chicago. The one problem for the Cubs, they're 9-20 at home. Second problem for the Cubs, they've lost 9 in a row. But maybe today, being a beautiful day here in Chicago, things will turn around. And the Los Angeles Dodgers are the opponents. Now, they beat L.A. 2 out of 3 in L.A. You might remember that road trip. They won 2 out of 3 in L.A. They won 2 out of 3 in Atlanta. All things looked pretty good. And then they hit the skids when Philadelphia came to town. But they don't have to worry about Philadelphia anymore. Let's not worry about them. We're going to talk to a man who set the baseball world on its ear many years ago with a book called Ball 4. His name is Jim Bouton. He's written another one, this one a novel. And after these messages, we'll get right to it.
Next time on Cheers.
I hope you're ready to change
Sounds like Becky's got marriage in mind.
You love her? Shoot, no.
So the bachelor isn't ready for you.
I don't want this same woman hanging on to me for the rest of my life.
Well, he'll do just about anything to stay single.
I've handled lots of love-crazed babes who want to become Mrs. Sam Malone.
So, what's his big plan? Just wait and see next time on Cheers.
Tonight at 10:30 on WGN Channel 9.
Every Neon comes with an advanced single overhead cam 16-valve engine, and its 132 high-tech horses should come in mighty handy when you're trying to coax a car onto a freeway. $94.75 for starters, $13,000 nicely loaded. Say hello to Neon.
Come meet Automobile Magazine's Automobile of the Year and the nice Dodge dealers who sell it.
Oh, what a world.
This weekend, why not expand your living room to the great outdoors of Illinois? Step outside in Illinois.
Wow.
Call for a free visitor's guide.
The house is this room, brick and mortar. A home is what will take place in this room when we're all finished. What takes place inside of a house really makes it a home, and what takes place inside of one of our stores makes it a special place for the customers. What we are about is we're in the yes business. Yes, we accept American Express. The last thing that Home Depot is into is putting limits on customers.
The American Express card is welcomed at the Home Depot and lots of other places close to home.
Jumbo shrimp.
As a young man, I read a book called Ball 4, and the guy who wrote it, Jim Bouton, set the baseball world on its ear by talking about what it was like in the interworld of baseball, something that most people didn't know. Jim, you were still a player when you wrote that book, and how was the reception from other players?
Well, I was pitching for the Houston Astros at the time, and I'd say 3 or 4 of them weren't too happy with the book. But most of the guys were pretty good about it. Some of them really liked it a lot. Those that read it realized that this is a funny book and it tells the ball player's side of baseball.
You are a living example of life after baseball. You're an entrepreneur, you are an author, and you've come up with something new. You've come up with a novel, and you came up with it with a little help from a friend of yours. And tell us about that.
Yes, the book is Strike Zone. It's a novel about the Chicago Cubs versus the Philadelphia Phillies on the last day of the season. It's set in 1993. The ball game is being fixed by the home plate umpire. Elliot Asinoff, who wrote 8 Men Out, the story of the Black Sox scandal, writes the umpire's view of this game, and I write the pitcher's view against whom the game is being fixed. So it's alternating chapters, 2 different voices, 2 totally different views of the game, pitcher, umpire, back and forth, and the suspense is what's going to happen. It's also a story about 2 characters who are looking to find some meaning in their lives. My character is a 32-year-old career minor leaguer who's so close all those years, never quite made it. Now he gets his chance, and he's got to prove to his family that he's not a baseball bum, prove to his wife that she shouldn't have left him, and he has to, find out who he is.
You've been around quite a bit and certainly have had a varied career. From the mound, you became a man in our business. You did some sports broadcasting in New York. You also are an entrepreneur. Big League Chew is your invention. You've done many things. but you've also seen this game. I know you've loved this game, and from the time that you were in it, and you were in it with some very good teams with the New York Yankees, is it the same game today that you remember many years ago?
Yes, I think so. I think today, unlike a lot of older guys, I think today's players are bigger, stronger, they're faster, they're more talented. They don't know the details of the game as well as we did. We were more skillful. Guys in our day could bunt, hit and run, move the runner to the right side, hit the cutoff man. But if the old guys in the 60s played the modern players today, we'd score 3 or 4 runs, and then we'd lose 12-3. Because we just didn't have the talent that these guys had. I mean, you remember spring training. Half the guys were there to lose weight. Today in spring training, these guys are in shape. They all look like greyhounds. It's a year-round business. They work out all the time, and if they don't feel like working out, their agent makes them work out.
Well, I want to know that we have a very erudite audience here, and our fans love to read. So one more time, the name of the book is Strike Zone, and where can I find it?
Strike Zone, well, any good bookstore will have the book, and I think you'll enjoy it. It's an inside look from an umpire's perspective, from a ball player's perspective, and it's also a bit of a love story.
Well, Jim, always a pleasure to see you, and good luck with the book. And stay with us, because we'll be back with a look at the starting pitchers coming up after these messages.
During the Dodge National Minivan sale, there are even more reasons to love caravans. In fact, depending on which caravan and which options you pick, you could save up to $2,600 on the minivan that already exceeds 1998 car safety requirements. The Dodge National Minivan Sale, the place to go for people who don't know when to stop. See your nearest Dodge dealer today.
Lots of gasolines talk performance, but no gasoline delivers it to more drivers than Shell. Shell, the world's best-selling gasoline.
I've got the world on a string.
Wouldn't you like the world on a string? Switch and get the AT&T Business Advantage, and you can get a whole string of international advantages, like online translating, UPS discounts, fax troubleshooting, and more. Switch to AT&T by July 1st, and we'll tie it all up with a whole month of free calling. For AT&T quality and competitive prices, call 1-800-222-0900. Don't forget, let AT&T work for you.
On the mound today for the Dodgers is Kevin Gross. You might remember the game he threw in Los Angeles. He hit a 3-run homer, so that's going to be a factor today. And Steve Traxel going to the mound for the Cubs. Of late, Steve Traxel has had his problems. In fact, his last win came back on May 9th. But Steve Traxel, at 23 years old, is the hope of the Cubs. He's going to be a good one, and maybe he's going to start a winning streak today. So it's going to be exciting, and stay tuned for baseball.
Guests on the leadoff man receive a Zenith 13-inch remote control color TV from Zenith and your local Zenith dealers. At Zenith, the quality goes in before the name goes on. And by Card Baseball, the new and exciting board game. Card Baseball is available at Toys R Us. Leadoff Man was brought to you by your Dodge dealers. Come see our great product lineup and the nice Dodge dealers who sell it.
Thinking about buying a Ford Taurus or Toyota Camry? Maybe you should think twice. With its innovative cab-forward design, Dodge Intrepid provides more passenger room than either Taurus or Camry. And Intrepid helps protect smaller passengers by offering an integrated child safety seat, something they don't offer you. So before you put too much thought into Taurus or Camry, try coming around to our way of thinking. Dodge Intrepid. This changes everything. See your nearest Dodge dealer today.
Why get only half the workout on an ordinary treadmill when you could get a total body workout? Introducing the incredible new WalkFit from Nordic Track. WalkFit's unique design lets you exercise your upper body and lower body at the same time. You get a fast, effective, total body workout that burns up to 1,000 calories per hour. Whether your goal is to lose weight, tone muscles, or relieve stress, You can do it all with the WalkFit Total Body Treadmill from Nordic Track. WalkFit gives you a 53% greater cardiovascular workout than on ordinary treadmills, and you can burn up to 79% more calories. And WalkFit has no motor. It's safe and easy to use. Unlike motorized treadmills, you control the pace. There's no herky-jerky starts and stops. Call our toll-free number now and receive a free information-packed video and full-color brochure showing how you can get started on an enjoyable exercise program you'll stick with. Don't settle for half the workout when you can get a superior total body workout with Nordic Track's WalkFit. Call today and get a 30-day in-home trial and 2-year limited warranty. After all, it's from Nordic Track.
Hey, Cub fans, keep your eye on the ball. Every time a Cub player hits a homer at Wrigley Field, you could be a winner. It's the Southwest Airlines How Far Did It Fly Home Run Contest. After every Cub homer, write down the distance along with your name and address and send it to WGN-TV. We'll choose 10 winners to fly to Phoenix on Southwest Airlines to live out their baseball fantasy at Randy Huntley's baseball camp where they'll play with the pros. For every Cub homer, ask yourself, how far did it fly? From Southwest Airlines, just plain smart.
Bobby Rush, Buddy Ace, and Sun Seals. Mary B. hosts an all-new Blues going on. Sunday night at 10:30 on WGN Channel 9. The following is a presentation of WGN Sports.
What a beautiful day in Chicago as the Cubs open a 3-game homestand against the Los Angeles Dodgers, who have lost 5 out of the last 6, while the Cubs have lost their last 9 in a row. Stay with us. Exciting baseball coming your way.
This is the first game of the 1938 World Series.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN. The Cubs are brought to you by Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light. Buick and your better Buick dealers, the new symbol for quality in America. Builder Square. For all of your home improvement needs, we'll get you squared away. Buy Pepsi. Be young. Have fun. Drink Pepsi. Aflac, insuring over 38 million people worldwide. Your local 76 dealers who invite you to go with the spirit of 76. And by Southwest Airlines. Fly Southwest Airlines. It's just plain smart.
It was love at first sight, and this is one affair that's still going strong half a century later. It's the story of a St. Louis orphan who joined one of America's greatest families, the game of baseball. I'm Bob Costas. World War II still raged when Harry first heard the call, and he's been calling it his way ever since. Join me for a tribute to and a look back at this uniquely American love story. When Harry Met Baseball, Monday, July 11th, on WGN Channel 9.
People don't have time anymore to make a decent meal, so they might enjoy rotisserie chicken that's slow roasted and deep marinated the way they do it if they had the time. And my secret recipe. Give someone a good meal at a fair price, and they'll come back to you.
Come on over to KFC and taste for yourself why the Colonel's Rotisserie Gold Chicken is the #1 selling rotisserie chicken nationwide. Get a whole chicken with choice of 2 large side dishes and 4 cornbread muffins or biscuits, all for just $10.99 at KFC.
Where'd Alec Gates' mom and dad get what it takes to create this great playroom for their future Hall of Famer? Let's go back to square one. Builder Square can help you get even the biggest job off the drawing board. All the cabinetry, paneling, trim and molding. Whatever you're remodeling, remember who has it all from wall to wall at great square deal prices.
Better the plan, better the project.
Builder Square.
They'll get you squared away.
Hello again, everybody. Harry Carey with Steve Stone from Wrigley Field, where the Cubs open a 3-game homestand against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Everybody knows the Cubs have lost their last 9 in a row, but you may not know that the Dodgers have also blown 5 out of the last 6. And so this is a battle here today between 2 losers.
And Kevin Gross is going to the mound for the Dodgers, who have really struggled of late, and they've struggled because of that bullpen. In fact, of the 5 losses, they've all been by 2 runs or less. The last 3 losses coming by 1 run. And the Dodgers, to combat that, have called up 2 pitchers today, a hard-throwing young man by the name of Rudy Cianez and another young man by the name of Ismael Valdez. So they both came up to help out the much-beleaguered bullpen. And Steve Traxel is going to the mound for the Cubs, and he hasn't won a game since May 9th. Hopefully he can turn it around here today because, Harry, it is a beautiful day for baseball.
It certainly is that. You know, the more you read, the more you have to come to the conclusion that definitely there's going to be a strike.
Well, I think at this point, when the owners said that they were going to take a little more hardline approach this time, I think they're trying to convince the Players Association, Harry, that they are serious this time. And hopefully it won't come to that cooler heads will prevail. There will be a middle ground. It will be met, and we'll go on with baseball because there's a lot of guys having wonderful years, and I'd like to see it played out over 162 games.
Well, and don't forget about the fan, too. I'm sure he would regret it very, very much. And he's the unsung hero of this game, I think. And maybe not enough attention is paid to him. I mean the fan who pays his way in and brings his family in to watch the ball game. You know, this is funny. Baseball, I think, is in its greatest period of prosperity between the ownerships and between the players. No player ever earned more money than they're making today. The average pay is over $1 million a year. People have trouble understanding what more they could want. On the other hand, the owners keep crying poor church mouths, excuse me, and yet every time they sell their property, they get 10, 15 times more than what they paid for it. And now we'll be back following our national anthem.
It's Berkeley and Jeremy Craig.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the rampart we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Illinois, don't miss it. If you live in Chicago, you're just a short drive away from some of the most beautiful country that you'll ever see. There's Lincoln's New Salem near Petersburg, where Abraham Lincoln lived for 6 years as a young adult. Or visit Lake Shelbyville near Decatur, where you'll never see a nicer sunset, unless, of course, you decide to go sailing on Lake Carlisle. So take a day or two and visit your home state. Illinois, don't miss it.
More and more people are now leasing a GMC Jimmy. Maybe they like getting more truck for the money, or Jimmy's powerful engine. Perhaps it's the benefits of getting a new truck every 2 years, or the benefits of a soft ride suspension, or possibly they want to avoid long-term financial commitments in their quiet, air-conditioned GMC Jimmy. Then again, they may just be after a low monthly payment. Can you blame them?
See your local Chicagoland and Northern Indiana GMC truck dealer, proud sponsors of World Cup Soccer.
Sir Dude, if I may call you such, sir. Dude, sir. I'm here to ask for your daughter Julie's hand in marriage. Yeah, man. We want to serve. Or maybe start a band. Check it out. My pop loves to party. And my mom, she's a big old earth muffin, yeah? So as far as cash flow goes, man, we don't have any. So I figure, move in here and glom off of you for a while, man. What do you say, sir?
Cool.
Is that like priceless, dude?
Hello again, everybody. Harry Carey with Steve Stone and Tom Brenneman. Here are the lineups for today's game. First of all, Tommy Lasorda's Dodgers, Brett Butler in center. Offerman at short. Piazza, the catcher. Wallach at third. Rodriguez in left. Karras at first. Mondesi in right. Ingram at second. And Kevin Gross is 1-4, lost 3 on the hill. The Cubs defense, presented by Pepsi, finds May, Rhodes, and Sosa in the outfield. Buechele, Dunston, Sandberg, and Grace on the infield. Traxel was 1-4 himself and lost 3. On the mound, Wilkins the catcher. The umpires, Bob Davidson working the plate, Gary Davis at first, Bill Hahn at second, and Jim Quick at third. It's a lovely, bright, cool day, 61 degrees. A fine crowd on hand. It looks like capacity.
Last time the Cubs played the Dodgers, they played them to a standstill. In fact, actually got the better of them in Los Angeles. They beat them 2 out of 3. They looked very solid in that series, and they did it by completely stopping Raul Mondesi. Mike Piazza had some problems offensively, but a couple of guys have gotten hot since the Cubs have seen him. There you look at the numbers on Steve Traxel this year. 12 games, 4.50 ERA, a 4-3 record. His innings hits this season, walks to strikeouts, still very respectable. 23 walks, 61 strikeouts, and that's what he did last time out against L.A. Well, since we've seen Eric Karros, he has been on fire. He's got a 12-game hitting streak, and he's hitting .500 during that streak. And Tommy Lasorda, looking on, finds his ball club in first place, but he has bullpen woes, and he's trying to address those at this time. The Dodgers have squandered a lot of leads, and they lost Jim Gott to an appendicitis, and he's a man that stopped for them last year. So they've got their problems in that respect.
The Dodgers entered today's game with a 13-18 road record. The Dodgers are 1-5 on the current road trip. And they've lost so many of their games in the 9th inning. They haven't had a closer, but still lead the Giants by 2. Look at Colorado. 4 games under .500, but only 2.5 games out. And San Diego is last in the National League West. All right, here we go. Brett Butler leading it off. Hitting .333. Butler still makes his home in Atlanta, Georgia. He was born here in the Chicago area. And Steve Traxel's first pitch swung on and popped up. Buechele under it. Makes the catch. 1 out. 1 pitch, 1 out. And here's Jose Offerman, the shortstop. Dodgers have a hot rookie in Mondesi, Raul Mondesi, the right fielder. You know, they've had the Rookie of the Year each of the last 2 years. Karros 2 years ago, then Piazza last year, and this year they're high on Mondesi.
Well, I would think that he would have the inside track for Rookie of the Year, beyond a doubt, Harry. 12 outfield assists. He leads the league in that department. Many of the people who have watched him liken his arm to the great Roberto Clemente.
And he's only hitting .336, 9 homers, 36 RBIs. Offerman, by contrast, having a terrible year. He's hitting only .199, 1 homer, 23 RBIs. This is Floppy Hat Day. And those are, hey, where are ours? Where are our floppy hats? Hey, Pat, how are you? Good to see you. Pat Williams, who really at heart is a baseball man, although he's accomplished great things with the Orlando Magic in the NBA. And I'm not going to ask you what happened to you in the playoff. Come down here, Pat. Here's the pitch a little bit low and inside. Pat Williams.
Harry.
Your baseball was with the Phillies, wasn't it?
Yeah, I spent 7 years in the Phillies system, Harry. So.
Yeah, and I know you're a great devotee of Bill Beck.
Those are my roots. Bill was a dear friend and really my mentor, and I look back over these 30 years, really, Bill really gave me the philosophy that had shaped my career, so we both have a great admiration for him, Harry.
Oh, he was tremendous. It's a shame there aren't more of them around right now when baseball, I think, needs them badly.
Well, the Vecs are like the Vecs are like the Babe Ruths. You know, they come along once in a generation, I think.
What happened with the playoffs?
Well, your grandson let us down. He didn't call the plays right.
Well, I tell you, he was really hurt.
Well, we all were, but as it turns out, Indiana went all the way to the Eastern Finals, a 7th game with New York, and could well have won it and been in the finals. So I think as we look back, we were beaten by a very good team that was hot, and you know, we're a young club. Shaquille and Penny Hardaway are still very young players who are going to grow and mature through all this. So we're getting there, Harry, little by little.
You know, now dawns on me why you're here, because I ran into Frank Layden.
Did you?
At my restaurant last night.
And he was on the other side of the street at the time, right?
Yeah, right. And I know you're having the basketball meetings here.
Yes, there are about 60 college players here, Harry, that are working out for the NBA clubs prior to the draft. And so business at your restaurant should be very good. I mean, all these guys are prodigious eaters. So you're probably sensing that at your restaurant this week. But it's a good camp, and it gives us a chance to see these players prior to the draft and try and avoid mistakes any more than we normally make.
Well, you usually get the first draft. They legislated you out of it.
Yeah, they fixed that up so we can't pick first anymore, Harry. But we've gotten to the point maybe where we can stay out of that lottery and start winning some games now.
Here's the pitch after a base on ball to Offerman. And Mike Piazza. I don't think this guy played basketball, but if he had elected to, he probably would have been a star in that game, too.
Well,
here's a guy drafted, I don't know, about 190th or something like that, 325th. And here is the star in the major leagues as a catcher.
Well, he's a tribute, Harry, to hard work and not being discouraged and fighting through obstacles, which is a lot about what sports is really about. So it's fun to watch him develop.
How much you were surprised, as everybody else, that the Bulls did as well without Michael Jordan as they did?
Oh, it was remarkable. I don't think anybody predicted the Bulls to have anywhere near the year that they did, but the rest of those guys rallied and took their games up a notch, and for them to almost get to the finals in the Eastern Conference again and be a threat to win another championship without him, Harry, was remarkable. And I think it was probably even more amazing than winning the 3 championships in a row, because they were not the same club without him, but they played beyond themselves. It was tremendous.
Then how come Phil Jackson wasn't the coach of the year?
He certainly could have gotten votes, but your old friend from St. Louis, Lenny Wilkins, took the Atlanta club, Harry, which really had been kind of an ordinary team, and they ended up with the best record in the East, and just a phenomenal year. But Phil certainly probably got more votes this year than he did when they were winning, but and deserved every one of them.
All right, Piazza with a count of 3-1. There goes the runner. There's the throw, but it won't count because ball 4 with Piazza up there, and he gets a base on balls. So Tretzel has walked both Offerman and Piazza, and now he's got Tim Orlick to face.
Let's see how close this one is. It's just off the corner. Bob Davidson says it's wide. It does look a little wide, and from the Southwest Plainview camera, we'll see just exactly how far it is outside as Wilkins gives the target there. You can see it just off the corner. It's a good call by Davidson and a good throw by Wilkins, but it goes for naught. And now you have a very slow man up in Wallach. Maybe they can get out of it with a double play. Wallach has grounded into 7 of them this year.
And he's also hit 14 homers. Now that pitch, that's the the bind an umpire finds himself in. It can't be almost. It's either a ball or a strike. And he said it was a ball. Runners at first and second. Low and outside. Who do you think is the most, of all the guys going to be drafted, who do you think can immediately help somebody win best of all?
Well, the best player here, I think the best talent is Robinson from Purdue. I think it's evident he's going to go to Milwaukee with the first pick, and deservedly so. He's a remarkable offensive player. Many people think he's the best forward to come out of college basketball since Larry Bird, which was 15 years ago. And he'll help a Milwaukee club that needs him right now. Dallas probably will take the point guard from California, Jason Kidd. And then Grant Hill, who everybody really likes, Calvin Hill's son, just such a great athlete. He should probably go third to Detroit. Interesting on him, Harry, he measured a little bit bigger than people thought. They got him at 6'8", barefooted, which is about an inch bigger than people had expected. So he's a little bit bigger than people had thought he was.
There's a high fly ball. Sammy Sosa will make the catch. The runner tagging up at second. The throw cut off by Dunston. And with 2 out, the runners at first and third. All right.
Harry, great to see you.
Wait a minute. Before you get away, I got the big question. Are you going to get Horace Grant?
Harry, let me say this, big fella. We've already been nailed. Jerry Krause is just lurking. He's just sitting at his television right now waiting for me to say the wrong thing. So after July 1, we'll address all that. So I've learned my lesson, and, you know, it'll be interesting to see how all that goes. But he's meant a great deal to
Let me ask you one that you can't get in trouble on. How many children do you have now?
18, Harry.
Goodbye.
We've adopted 14 of them, and my wife's tending with all of them this week without me. But our oldest is 20, the youngest is 6, and by the end of the summer, Harry, we'll have 7 13-year-olds. So when you're having a bad day, just think of me, big fella.
All right. Good to see you,
Great
pal.
to see you, Harry.
Such a pleasant surprise.
Thank you. Steve, good to
Okay.
see you. Thank you, Pat.
All right, here is Henry Rodriguez. 2 out, 2 on. A bouncing foul. He just tipped that ball. It was an outside pitch. He tried to pull it. If he'd have gone the other way with that one, they'd be on the board because he hits the ball pretty hard towards left field as well as right.
Well, the Cubs got Rodriguez out when they faced him in Los Angeles by keeping everything away and staying with a lot of off-speed stuff. Now he's in a hole 0-2. Not a bad time to use that split finger. But Drexel has to be careful to keep it out of the dirt.
0-2 the count. Runners at first and third. A little bit outside. Gosh, I let Pat Williams get away without putting in a plug for my grandson. Maybe I could have gotten him a raise.
Did a pretty good
Get
job
Pat
down there.
back here, will you? 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 out. Runners at first and third. Strike 3 call. Boy, he threaded the needle over the outside corner. And no run, no hits, 2 left. We go in the bottom of the first, no score.
Calling all Kevheads, I'm having a party.
But where do we have it? Stretch limo. Addison?
Space Shuttle? 66 driving.
My house.
You're unbelievable.
Hey, what are you bringing to the party?
Weenie.
Halter top.
Sushi. My iguana. Oh, a snorkel. And a string bikini.
No. Who's got the beer? The brew. 2 more. Bud Light. There you have it. 4 out of 5 Kevheads gotta have.
You're unbelievable.
We got a major problem with your sewer down in the basement there, Mr. Ryan. We're going to have to break up the floor to get your water going again. It's a typical flam shooter.
Flame shooter, Al?
Yeah, your pipe scrapple is shot. We're going to have to dig it up underneath the drain tile.
Is this going to cost me extra dough?
This man is not a licensed professional plumber. If you look for this symbol and call us, we'll give you the name of the Plumbing Council pro in your neighborhood.
Dodge Caravan, GMC Safari Van.
Let's look at the numbers. Available seating. Standard horsepower. Towing strength. Standard anti-lock brakes. Standard fuel capacity. And now, the totals. There you have it. Indisputable mathematical proof. It doesn't take a genius to see that Safari gives you a lot more than Caravan. See your Chicagoland and Northern Indiana dealers, proud sponsors of World Cup soccer.
Harry Carey back at Wrigley Field. Pepsi presents the Cubs lineup, and here's Tom Treblehorn's array today. Rhodes leads off, Sandberg at second, Grace at first, May in left, Wilkins at catcher, Sosa in right, Buechele at third, Dunson the shortstop, and Traxel pitching. The defensive alignment, Rodriguez in left, Butler in center, Mondesi in right, Wallach, Offerman, Ingram, and Karras on the infield. Kevin Gross, veteran right-hander, on the mound, and Mike Piazza behind the plate.
Last time the Cubs looked at Kevin Gross, they hit him pretty hard. In fact, Sammy hit a 2-run homer against him. Then Derek May hit a 3-run homer against him. That was in Los Angeles, so Gross comes in at 4-3. He started 11 games, has yet to complete one. He's given up 9 home runs in 73 1/3 innings, and his control has been good.
Tuffy takes the pitch low. Well, before, when Sammy Sosa hit a 2-run homer, it gave the Cubs a 2-0 lead. And then Kevin Gross hit a 3-run homer to give them the lead 3-2. And then Derek May hit a 3-run homer, and the Cubs led 5-2 and went on to a victory.
That's the career numbers against the Cubs, and as you can see, the Cubs have handled them pretty well. One of the reasons is that usually in the early innings, Kevin Gross has the Cubs' number. But then somewhere along the line, he hangs 1 or 2 of those curveballs, and they take advantage of it.
Gross, 33-year-old veteran. Strike 2, and the count is even up.
Now, Gross doesn't throw overly hard. He throws between 85, 86 miles an hour normally. But his pitch is the curveball, and it's a dandy. When he's got it going, it's as tough as anybody.
Base hit. Rhodes singles to center. And that's the way to start the ball game. And here's Sandberg.
Well, Rhino, as you know, has been really struggling. He's 1 for his last 24, and usually to shake a hitter out of a slump like that, a manager will use the hit and run. Not a bad idea to try it here because everybody is throwing Rhino away. On the hit and run, you want to hit the ball to the right side, and it's kind of a natural situation to look outside and get the pitch that everybody's been throwing him.
Rhodes, good lead at first. Low and outside. Again, Rhodes made that fake start towards second, which has become a habit for him. And Jose Martinez is talking to him down there. 1 ball, no strikes. Boy, a great matchup of pitchers tomorrow. Oral Hershiser for the Dodgers. Willie Banks for the Cubs.
You can see how early Piazza's setting up, and he's setting up on the outside corner. Sometimes, if a hitter just peeks back a little bit, sees some movement, he can see the catcher out of the corner of his eye. If you don't see him, you know he's inside. If you can see any part of him, you know he's got to be sitting outside.
Tomorrow's starting pitchers are brought to you by Desinex. One ball, 1 strike. There goes a runner. Swung and missed the throw. He is going to be safe. The throw hit Rhodes before the second baseman Ingram can catch it. stolen base for Tuffy.
Stolen base number 5 for Rhodes. You can see pretty good jump right there as the Cubs now 31 and 27 in the stolen base department. The ball was right into Rhodes, and so no chance for Ingram. Not a particularly good throw by Piazza. And Kevin Gross is very slow to home plate. The Cubs should be running every chance they get on Kevin Gross because he hasn't really adopted the slide step at all. He's using a high leg kick, and that's one of the things that Kevin Gross gives you. A very slow delivery home, and Jose Martinez keeps the clock, keeps a stopwatch on every one of the pitchers in the league. And the Cubs know how long it takes every pitcher to deliver the ball home.
Sandberg's only one out of his last 24 times at bat. That one hit drove in a run, tied up a ball game in the 9th in Philadelphia, although the Phillies came back in their half and won the game. Two balls, 2 strikes. A man in scoring position. Tuffy Rhodes. Little bit outside. Ball 3, 3-2. Cubs won 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium a couple weeks ago. Line drive to the second baseman. Did he drop it? He did drop it, I guess. It looked like he made the catch and started to throw to second, dropped the ball, and he figured he better throw it so there'd be no doubt about it, and Sandberg is retired.
Well, he did catch the ball, and in transferring the ball to his hand, it dropped out. But Bill Hahn gave the safe sign, which means that he had to go through with the play. So it goes as a 4-3 put out. Young Gary Ingram, who's shown that his conversion to second base, all things considered, very smooth. And it does go 4-3 on the put out instead of L4.
And here's Mark Grace. Mark hitting .309, 1 homer, 22 RBIs. One strike and nothing.
Best arm in the outfield belongs to Raul Mondesi in right field. In fact, the best arm by far, and maybe the best in all of baseball, or certainly among the top 5.
Strike called over the outside corner.
Now, the Cubs have to be aware that Bob Davidson is giving a very generous outside corner against the left-hand hitters, and so they're going to have to go out there and get it. Rodriguez was called out on a pitch about 4 inches outside, and that one was off the corner to Grace.
0-2 the count. High pop foul out of play.
Wind blowing in today, although it's not all that much of a factor. It looks to be about 12 miles an hour. It's blowing straight in over the center field wall, very lazily, and it's turned into a beautiful day. It was overcast in the morning, but now just gorgeous.
One, 2 the count. A little bit low outside. The gang from Harry Carey's and Wheeling are here with the Ranella distributors of Budweiser. Vince and Marty Ferraro, Sam and Mike Ranella, and some 80 winners of a raffle conducted there are here watching the Cub-Dodger game. They're chauffeured here to Wrigley Field via the Budweiser bus.
Well, now taking a look at where Piazza's setting up, you'd have to think that he'd want to go away with something to great. He tried a couple of curveballs, and watch Piazza, see where he sets up.
A little outside. They pitch race outside. That may have something to do with his lack of power. He's got a lot of singles and doubles, only one home run. Outside again, ball 3.
I was looking at Mike Piazza using a different set of signs with a man at second base.
Three and 2. A little tap right back to the mound. And Gross tosses it to Karras. Easy out. And Rhodes advances to third. And now here's Derek May with 5 homers, 31 RBI. Well, if Bill Sullivan is listening in at Bally's out in Las Vegas, we want to wish him a happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Bill. Happy birthday to you. Well, if you were in town, I'd buy you a drink, Bill, but everything considered, that's the best I can do. Hit that outside corner. And Davidson is very consistent.
And once again, the hitters are going to have to go out there because Bob Davidson's going to be calling it, even though they don't feel it's a strike. And a veteran pitcher like Gross, were I him, I would stay out there until Bob Davidson stopped calling it.
A little bit low. Birthday greetings to Susie Evans and also to Jesse Pearl Welling from Omaha, Nebraska.
Cubs have a chance to break out on top, and if Gross stays away, Rodriguez will probably have a play in left.
Held up in time.
You'd like to get to Gross before he really gets a rhythm on the curveball. So far, he hasn't thrown any curveballs over the plate. And the rhythm on the curveball will come to him in the second or third inning.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Trucking out over the outside corner. And at the end of 1, there is no score.
Ever since Southwest Airlines introduced Friends Fly Free, people have gotten friendlier.
Sugar Plum, your favorite pillow.
If you make reservations and buy your round-trip ticket at our regular low, unrestricted fare, a friend gets to fly with you, free.
Hey, Dad, seen the hedge trimmer?
There's no advance purchase, and tickets are fully refundable.
Here's that putter I borrowed last year. Oh, buddy.
Southwest Airlines Friends Fly Free. It's great for your pocketbook and your popularity.
Round here, folks believe in making things last. Relationships, neighborhoods, and the family automobile. And who wouldn't want to see that 100,000-mile mark? So it's no wonder so many rely on their neighborhood 76 station. Here you'll find quality gasolines and services to help keep your car humming along. We can't promise you'll see that 100,000-mile mark, but we're glad to help you try. 76. Go with the spirit.
Hi, I'm Jim Palmer for the Money Store. Right now, you can refinance your first mortgage even if you've been late on some payments in the past. You can apply over the phone, and there's no application fee. So call the Money Store at 1-800-LOAN-YES. That's 1-800-LOAN-YES.
Say goodbye to the plastered-down look of heavy hairspray, and hello to the natural-looking hold of Consort Hairspray for Men with the fine mist that won't weigh hair down. So even fine or thinning hair looks fuller. Get a fuller, thicker look with Consort.
This is WGN-TV, Chicago.
Harry Carey back at Wrigley Field. Consort Hairspray brings you today's game conditions. Temperature 61 degrees. Wind out of the northeast at 9. And forecast partly sunny. It is completely sunny right now.
When the Cubs saw Eric Karros in Los Angeles, he was hitting in the mid-250s. With his 12-game hitting streak and his .500 batting average during that streak, he's hitting .300.
There's a curveball inside Karros.
And Harry, I noticed something different right away. He's got a wide-open stance now, something he never had. So he's made an adjustment, and it certainly has paid off for him.
Ground ball. Dunson ought to throw him out. And he does, one away. You know, Dan Plesac, our fine relief pitcher, and he really has done an outstanding job all year long. His grandmother, Ernesta Gabi, is celebrating her 85th birthday today. And Dan and everybody else hope she has a wonderful birthday. Speaking of birthdays, Wanda Taylor of the Cubs publicity staff is celebrating her 29th birthday for the 9th straight year. Atta girl, Wanda. That's what I used to do. Not a bad-looking group there. They're not paying much attention to the ball game.
Mondesi is probably the fastest man on this team, and the Cubs handled him very well. In fact, they broke his 14-game hitting streak, so he just turned around, and now he's got a 13-game hitting streak alive.
He swung and he missed. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Mondesi. Here are the leaders in the extra base hits. Larry Walker of Montreal. Lenny Dykstra of Philadelphia. Mondesi is third. Tied with Matt Williams and Andres Galarraga. Curveball. He almost gave ground on that. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
When the Dodgers signed Mondesi just a few short years ago, he weighed about 150 pounds. Right now, he's up to 215, and he still is the fastest man on this team.
He struck him out. He tried to check his swing, but Davidson said he went around. 2 outs.
From the Southwest Plainview camera, you'll see the only weak spot in the arsenal around Mondesi, and that is his inability to really control the strike zone yet. He doesn't have much of an idea on the outside corner. And there is the Southwest Plainview camera high atop Wrigley Field, giving you those beautiful shots around home plate.
2 out, nobody on. You know, I'm starting to get the idea that Southwest Airlines is one of our sponsors, right?
I think so, Harry. I'm not sure, but I would have to believe that they are.
1 strike, 2 out, nobody on. A little bit outside. Gary Ingram hitting .292 with 2 homers. Takes a strike.
Ingram came up last year from San Antonio, and that's Double-A. And he spent the whole year down there. Didn't show a lot of power. He showed some speed. And here he is in the big league.
He's only 23 years old as he goes down, swinging. 1, 2, 3. They go in the bottom of the second, no score.
It's going to be a happy summer. Because every weeknight at 6.
Hey, look at my Scooby-Doo lunch pail.
We've got your home remedy for heat stroke.
My gut instinct is to shoot at him.
A sure cure for the dog day.
You got some slobber on your face.
A whole summer of screwballs, cue balls, and slime.
It is just another day in fruitcake court.
Night Court, back for the summer. Beginning Monday night at 6 on WGN Channel 9.
A participating advertiser in Cubs baseball is your local Chicagoland and Northern Indiana GMC truck dealers. Stop in and test drive the complete line of GMC trucks.
Calling all Kev-Eds, I'm having a party!
But where do we have a stretch limo? Addison?
Space Shuttle? 66 driving.
My house.
You're unbelievable.
Hey, what are you bringing to the party?
Weenie.
Halter top.
Sushi. My iguana. Oh, a snorkel. And a string bikini.
No! Who's got the beer? The brew. 2 more. Bud Light. There you have it. 4 out of 5 Kev-Heads gotta have...
You're unbelievable.
A participating advertiser in Cubs baseball is Desinex. To both soothe and cure athlete's foot, Desinex does it all.
Your local True Value features professionals who can help solve your problems. Unlike those huge hardware warehouses where you sometimes find a less experienced staff. Get Lasco's 12-inch 3-speed fan for just $12.97 and Allenite's 53-piece toolkit for only $11.44 at True Value. True Value. Help is just around the corner.
Cub fans join Cubs manager Tom Treblehorn, Tuffy Rhodes, Steve Traxel, and a host of Cub players and coaches for the 3rd annual All-Star Kids Clinic sponsored by Dial Soap and WGN-TV. Don't miss your chance to go on the field in the Cubs dugout and learn hitting and pitching and fielding from the pros. Tickets are just $10 per person, so for more information, call 312-404-CUBS.
Harry Carey and Steve Stone from Wrigley Field. Here's Rick Wilkins, hitting .224. 4 homers, 14 RBIs. Gross throws outside.
Gabor Bushy from Suburban Buick on hand, as is Jerry Napleton of Napleton Buick and Herb Siegel of Lauren Buick. And a beautiful day in Chicago.
Look out. I see Iowa defeated Omaha 12-3 last night. First baseman Matt Franco won 4 out of 4 with 3 RBIs, including his 6th home run. Ground ball, Karras. Gross covers, easy out. 1 away. Well, the rooftops, well populated. Beautiful day to be up there. 1 out, nobody on. Sammy Sosa, homered off Gross in California, leads the club with 13. Strike call. Peoria rallied in the bottom of the 9th to beat Burlington last night. And Bob Moritz at 4 for 4. Including 2 doubles. He's the younger brother of Hal Morris of the Reds.
And Sammy Sosa looks back at Bob Davidson, thinking that ball was outside. You're right, it was, Sammy, but Bob continues to call him a couple inches off the corner. I don't think he's going to change all day today, so the hitters are going to have to adjust.
Oh, and 2 the count. Into the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on. The Cubs have the only hit of the ball game, a single by Tuffy Rhodes to lead off. Bouchel will be next. Number 1 draft choice of a year ago, Brooks Kieschnick hit his 5th homer for Orlando last night, but Orlando lost to Nashville. There's a line drive, right center field, base hit. Mondesi gave it a challenge, but he had to feel it on 1 bounce.
With the wind blowing in, it just knocked that one down, and so Sammy, who's had some pretty good luck against Kevin Gross, Comes up with a base hit. We'll take another look at it. As Sammy gets one out over the plate, he is protecting away. Good piece of hitting by Sosa. And Steve Buechele, who watched a couple of games in Philadelphia, trying to get that stroke back together again, getting a chance to play here today. Keep your eye on Sosa. Now, this is a good running situation. And we'll see if he can take advantage of the slow, gross delivery home.
Got a good lead. Throw over there. Let's pause for identification.
This is America's #1 sports station, WGN-TV, Chicago.
Sammy Sosa edging away again. And Buechele takes it high. Sammy has stolen 10 bases. Been thrown out 8 times. One out. Ground ball to short. Out at second base for 1. Out at first for 2. And Buechele rolled into a 6-4-3 double play. At the end of 2, no score.
Why are you still up, 20C?
Oh, I can't sleep, 20D. I'm on the edge of my seat.
It's all the new non-stops, isn't it?
Yeah, more daily non-stops to Baltimore, Washington International.
Yeah, and don't forget, more daily non-stops to Louisville and St. Louis.
Gosh, I'm so excited, I can't sit still.
Shh, we're trying to sleep back here.
Better sit back and relax. It's really late.
Good night, 20D.
Good night, 20C.
I like to start my day with the Tribune before my daughter wakes up. And then I'd see the story on the front page and read about some poor child struck down and learn their name and their faith that otherwise no one would have known about.
And then I'd go into Ben's room and say thank you to all the angels that he's here with his mom and not there in the paper.
That's what the Tribune means to me. There's nothing more important than saving our kids.
A participating advertiser in Cubs baseball is your True Value hardware store. Help is just around the corner.
You just spray it on. You just spray it on.
Introducing new Quicksilver Wheel Cleaner from Armor All. Just spray it on. Wait 1 minute. And everything from dirt to brake dust just sprays right off.
That's it? That's it.
New Quicksilver Wheel Cleaner.
Jake Cardigan lives by a code.
I am still a cop. Always was, and I always will be.
Tech Lab. Tonight at 11:30 on WGN Channel 9.
Harry Carey back at Wrigley Field as we go in the top of the 3rd. You can't make fun of the old ballpark. Kevin Gross. Hit a homer with 2 on against the Cubs at Dodger Stadium. Ground ball, Dunston in. Throw to first, easy out. 1 gone. Here's our Aflac trivia question. When did the Cubs last sweep the Dodgers in a 3-game series at Wrigley Field? Well, I'm going to say 84.
Jeez.
You want to try 89?
Okay, I'll try 1972.
Well, he just asked you if you were with the team in 70.
And I wasn't.
One out.
Oh, I love these questions.
There's a Brett Butler is in the hole 0-2. He swung at the first pitch. His first time up, popping out, hitting .333, a fine leadoff man. Floppy hat day here today. And there are well over 30,000 people. They gave away 10,000 hats. And as you can see, a lot of people don't have any. And those who do have
a real
look very
floppy.
good.
Sure, very floppy hat.
Anheuser-Busch, Budweiser, and Bud Light. There's a bouncing ball. And Brett Butler is thrown out by Steve Traxel.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Chicago National League Ball Club, which has the right of approval of the announcers and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or the use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Chicago National League Ball Club is prohibited.
Christy Roby from Peru and Greg Goodrich from Logansport, Indiana are the honorary bat girl and bat boy today.
Traxel sailing right along outside of the 2 walks in the first inning. He has given up nary a hit to this point.
Hey, tomorrow is Rick Wilkins' Kids Growth Poster. All children entering the ballpark will receive a Rick Wilkins Growth Poster. That's tomorrow. And Sunday, the first 5,000 women entering the ballpark will participate in an on-field clinic. Women's Clinic Day, sponsored by Sportmart.
Outfield fairly shallow for Offerman, as you would expect from a man who's hit just 1 home run this year.
Offerman, the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fouled it off.
One problem Steve Traxel has had this year, that of giving up the long ball. He's given up 14 home runs. However, today, a very good day to pitch because the wind is blowing in rather briskly. So you might get away with a few more high fastball mistakes.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Again, he fouls it out of play.
Offerman had a relatively good year with the bat last year, hitting .269, and he drove in 62 runs. Not bad with only 1 home run and 30 stolen bases, but this year the batting average way down for Offerman. There's a look at one of the better center fielders around, Brett Butler.
Seaver Puckett had a couple of homers for the Twins as they beat the White Sox last night. Toronto knocked off the Yankees. Two out. 2 balls, 2 strikes. We talk about Cub Blue. There's a tap. Easy out. 1, 2, 3. We go in the bottom of the 3rd. No score.
This is L.A.
We
We have tons of friends. This is Tosh. This is my wife. This is my neighbor. This is my son-in-law. This is my very good neighbor. This is my number 2 daughter. Hi. This is my neighbor, John. When I found out that I needed surgery, it was kind of a shock.
Luckily, it turned out.
Aflac really helped protect our savings. Just really took the worry away.
Aflac covers the unexpected cost of getting better so you can get on with life.
Don is definitely not a dancer.
Calling all Kevins, I'm having a party!
But where do we have it? Stretch limo.
Addison?
Space Shuttle? 66 driving.
My house.
You're unbelievable.
Hey, what are you bringing to the party?
Weenies.
Halter top.
Sushi. My iguana. Oh, a snorkel. And a string bikini.
No.
Who's got the beer? The brew. 2 more. Bud Light. There you have it. 4 out of 5 Kev heads gotta have...
You're unbelievable.
A participating advertiser in Cubs baseball is your local Chicagoland and Northern Indiana GMC truck dealers. Stop in and test drive the complete line of GMC trucks.
At Burger King, you're number 1 with us. So just for you, we've gone the BK broiler 1 better. Now it's even bigger than the one before, with more all-white meat chicken for an even bigger value than the one before. Of course, it's still flame broiled because that's one taste we know you love. The new BK broiler. It's one big taste for one big value, and we'll make one specially for you at Burger King.
Hi, welcome to Burger King.
We may not be the world's number 1 fast food place. It just tastes that way with the new BK broiler.
Flat, flat, flat.
Bounce, bounce, bounce.
Touchy, touchy.
It's a different world. Starting Monday at 5 on WGN.
Harry Carey with Steve Stone and Tom Brenneman will be along at the end of this half inning. Here's Dunston to lead it off. You know, Jim Gott, fine relief pitcher of the Dodgers, underwent a appendectomy last night. He's at Northwestern Memorial Hospital, and all the Dodger players and personnel wish him well and send their wishes for a quick recovery. Jim Gott at Northwestern Memorial Hospital.
You know,
0-2.
Jim Gott saved 25 games last year, and with the problems out of the bullpen this year, Jim Gott is a big loss to this team. So they had to drop down to the minor leagues to pick up a couple of hard-throwing pitchers, and hopefully for the Dodgers, those pitchers will shore up their bullpen.
Dunston. Kevin Gross. Base hit. Hit hard to left.
Sean Dunston can hit curveballs. If they're out over the plate, if they're strikes, he can hit them. And so he should do a pretty good job against Kevin Gross. And very few guys in this league will go down to first more aggressively than Sean Dunston. He's always thinking about a double. If anybody mishandles the ball in the outfield, Dunston will take off. Now watch him. He just rounds first aggressively, and that's a good tip to all you youngsters. If you go down to first as hard as you can, take the big turn at first. Anytime the ball is mishandled, you got yourself a double. You're on second base, and you're helping your ball club. And Dunston does it as well as anybody in this league.
Here's Traxel. Well, Bill Joust, fine sports writer of the Tribune, brings up a picture and a T-shirt from my dear friend Margie, from Margie's. Not too far from the ballpark. There's a pitch high inside.
Well, here's a situation where you might want to do what the Dodgers do so very well with Orel Hershiser. You've got Tim Wallach almost right in on the doorstep of Steve Traxel. Traxel's a very good hitter. Have him pull the bat back and take a swing at one. If he gets a fastball, you got a lot of people moving in that infield, and you've got a lot of holes created. And Wallach now goes in to talk with Kevin Gross. He is as shallow as you want to see at third base. And Tony Muser went down to have a word with Steve Traxel. Not a bad idea when you can swing the bat like Traxel to give that one a try.
1 ball, no strikes. Wallach ready to charge. Throw the first runner back. Hey, Margie, that's a great picture of the two of us. One ball. Dunston the lead. The throw. Margie's one of those great neighborhood saloons. And this town is full of them. He bunts. The only play, first base. Karras to Ingram. The second baseman covering. And now Tuffy Rhodes and Ryne Sandberg will have a chance of putting the Cubs on the board first.
Pretty good bunt by Steve Kraxel. And for him, that's sacrifice number 4. That ties him for the team lead with Willie Banks. We talked about the 2 moves the Dodgers made to shore up the bullpen. Ismael Valdez came up from Albuquerque. He was 3-0 as a starter. And Rudy Cianez, a hard thrower, came up from Albuquerque, where he had a .532 ERA in 20 games. Cianez has a major league arm, a big fastball, but he's had problems with control during the course of his career.
Tuffy Rhodes singled his first time up. Had a cut and miss as Gross threw the fastball by him. Beautiful afternoon. Big crowd on hand. 1 ball, 1 strike. Boy, the sailboats are really out in goodly numbers today. And is that the Budweiser blend? That's what it is. A ball and a strike. Inside. 2 balls and a strike.
There's a look in at one of the league's best and one of the league's youngest. Mike Piazza, last year's Rookie of the Year.
Not the unusual, the Dodgers, they're going for the hat trick this year. Karras won it 2 years ago, Piazza last year, and they got Mondesi all set to take it this year.
And all in all, Tommy Lasorda has had 6 Dodger Rookies of the Year.
Ground ball to the second baseman. Easy out. Ingram throws out Rhodes. Well, here's the answer to the Aflac question. Putin, Pappas, and Pizarro swept the Dodgers in 1972.
See, Harry, I told you these questions are easy. They're getting easier all the time.
Two men are out. Here's Sandberg. He now is 1 out of his last 25. And that 1 hit came in the 9th inning in Philadelphia to tie up a ball game.
Rhino did hit the ball hard last time out. And he hit it right at second baseman Gary Ingram. But he hit it hard because he went to right field as Gross tried to stay away from it.
2 men are out. Runner at third. No score. Tommy Lasorda swinging the bat in the dugout. What a wonderful guy. He's got a world of friends, not only in L.A., not only in Chicago, not only in Philadelphia, not only in New York. You think of the city, and he has a world of friends. 0-1 the count. Swung and he missed. 0-2.
Gross has 2 different kinds of breaking balls. That was the harder one. That's a little slider. Doesn't do much, just sinks a little at the end. Then he has the big curveball. And now he's thrown his fastball a little bit harder than he did early in the game. He has thrown a wild pitch, and with an 0-2 record, you start thinking about something in the dirt. So Dunston had best be coming down the line.
0-2. Low, nice stop by Piazza.
Piazza's getting better and better at blocking low pitches, and it's remarkable that he's only a second-year catcher. In fact, Joey Amalfitano, great friend and one-time Cub manager, said that the thing about Piazza that was so remarkable is the fact that he handled a pitching staff so well for a young man.
Again, he makes a good save. A lunging save on a slider, low and away. They're the strikeout leaders for 9 innings. Martinez of Montreal, followed by Nagel and Glavin and Bennis. Gross is 5th. Now the count is full, 3-2. And after a lot of breaking balls, he might try to get his fastball by Sandberg.
Well, let's hope he tries to get it by him inside. But I don't think Piazza's going to call it in there.
Three balls, 2 strikes. He struck him out. 10 the inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. Carry from Wrigley Field, where at the end of 3, there is no score.
Everybody knows bingo. But now, there's a new kind of bingo. A different kind of bingo, with a new way to play. Here, the numbers are hidden in the card. All you have to do is scratch. But best of all, you get 4 chances to win, and a top prize of $10,000 for just $2. Bingo from the Illinois Lottery. Now look for your new blue bingo game.
You can always spot a neighborhood with pride. Maybe it's a little cleaner, a little nicer place to be. All because somebody cared enough to make it that way. Like your neighborhood 76 station. Here, every gasoline is specially formulated to keep your engine clean and running smooth. We're rather proud of that. 76. Go with the spirit.
It still bugs me that I waited to try Old Spice High Endurance just because I thought all deodorants worked the same. Dumb. This proves it's the best. Better than the leading stick. It evaporates less quickly. It also lasts longer. Protects better. You can't ignore that. Or this guarantee. Try it. If you don't think it's the best, call 1-800-PROVE-IT, and they'll buy you a stick of yours. You got to figure anyone that serious about deodorant deserves a serious shot. Come on. Take the High Endurance Challenge from Old Spice. I did.
Sport Mart has the low price on Franklin's adult softball batting glove, just $18.96. Adult baseball batting glove, just $13.96. If you find Franklin for less anywhere else, we'll give you double the difference back.
The Federation faces its deadliest enemy.
No one ever escapes from the Jemadar.
On Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Sunday night at 6 on WGN.
Hi again, everybody. Back with our producer, director Arnie Harrison, Steve Stone. I'm Tom Brenneman back at Wrigley Field in Chicago. Steve Traxel, a native of Los Angeles, just outside of Los Angeles. He didn't throw the ball well against him at Dodger Stadium, but he looks very sharp here today.
Well, so far, a no-hitter for Steve Traxel, and Kevin Gross has been on the ropes, but so far, no score, and Traxel looks a whole lot better today than about the last 3 or 4 times out.
Traxel, over his last 5 starts, in fact, an 0-1 record with an ERA just a shade under 6. So he's trying to right the ship. He'll be facing Piazza, Tim Wallach, and then Henry Rodriguez here in the Dodger 4th inning. No score in the game. No runs, no hits for the Dodgers. No runs, 3 hits for the Cubs against Kevin Gross. Cubs only in town for the 3 games here over the weekend, so if you plan on stopping down to see everybody, come on in. Team won't return home until June the 24th. 0-2 to Piazza, last season's National League Rookie of the Year.
Look at those RBIs, a staggering total. Look at the numbers overall, and bear in mind this man started out 3 for 35 this year. Everybody was wondering if it was a sophomore jinx. All it was a slump. And he certainly has broken out of it in a big way.
Fraxel has walked 2, fan 3 on the afternoon. He's in front of Piazza at 0-2. And he bounces it up there. And there you see Piazza second only to Jeff Bagwell. What a year he's having. If Bagwell isn't the National League's starting first baseman in the All-Star game, of course, Galarraga's racking up big numbers too, but if Bagwell's not there, there ought to be an investigation. Of course, the fans vote, and whoever they want to see in there is who will start the game, and I have a feeling that the Colorado fans are voting for their man. Sandberg on to Grace. Piazza retired to begin the fourth.
There's a big advantage when your team is going to draw between 4 and 4.5 million people. And
Yes.
all of those folks are punching those ballots on a daily basis. And the Rockies, once again, drawing a whole lot of folks to the Mile High Stadium.
Good crowd on tap here today at Wrigley Field for this Friday afternoon game. Feels more like a fall Saturday, college football Saturday. Game time temperature only at 61 degrees. Ball one to Tim Wallach.
Don't forget, Tommy, it is the middle of June in Chicago.
I haven't forgotten.
This is the kind of temperatures you get. Seaside resort weather. If it's the Bering Sea.
Yes. 1-0 to Wallach. And it goes to 2 balls and no strikes. Wallach wide to right center field his first time up. Boy, here's a guy that's having a renaissance season. It's been a while since Wallach has slugged 14 home runs in a season, much less in the first 2 months.
Well, this is your comeback player of the year, assuming that we're going to stick around for 162 of these games this year.
Don't bet on it.
It looks a little doubtful at this point, but you never know. The owners are going to make a proposal to the Players Association on Tuesday. And hopefully it will be inviting enough for some middle ground to be reached. But things don't look all that bright at this point.
In the air on the 3-0 pitch, Dunston calling off Derek May, and Wallach is retired. The first 2 batters gone here in the Dodger fourth.
Does Sean Dunston leave you any doubt at all that he is in charge on those pop-ups?
None.
He looks like the Alexander Haig of pop-ups in the infield.
I'm in charge. Yes, indeed.
Stay away. I'm going to get it. Get away from me. I'll make the play. You go back to your position.
You know, but all kidding aside, that certainly is refreshing to see that, because we have seen Steve Buechele and Mark Grace on pop-ups twice this season collide in front of the mound. Once Grace caught the ball. The other time they bumped into one another. It fell to the ground.
Well, there's no doubt that Sean Dunston wants pop-ups. In fact, he's been that way since he's come into this league. And he lets everybody know that he's got it.
Henry Rodriguez into shallow left center field. Rhodes is there, and that will end the inning. 3 batters up, 3 batters down. After 3.5, Dodgers are hitless in the game. We're scoreless.
It might be. It looks like.
Do I look like that?
It is the Harry Carey Look-alike Contest. Send a picture of yourself looking like Harry Carey to this address. If you're one of 5 people who look most like Harry, you'll win 4 tickets to a Cubs game. Plus, the grand prize winner will be featured on TV. Throw out the first pitch at a Cubs game and dine at Harry Carey's restaurant.
Holy cow!
The Harry Carey Look-alike Contest. Enter now.
I see it all out here.
Whoa, check out the Ranger.
Climbers get in trouble. Sometimes they need help. Hey, it can happen to anyone.
Are you okay? You'll have to swing over to me.
For all you do.
Budweiser. Crisp, clean, classic.
Proud to be your buddy.
Say, with all this talk of reducing the deficit, isn't it about time we saw one of our important public officials get into a Hyundai? I mean, after all, who better to balance the national budget than somebody who's already figured out how to balance his own?
Where can you see hundreds of styles and colors of floor and wall tile on display and find ceramic tile at this low price? At Tile Outlet, 2444 West Fullerton in Chicago, just 3 blocks west of the Kennedy Expressway.
This is WGN-TV, Chicago.
No score at Wrigley Field. First game of this 3-game series. Here's a good-looking group, and we say hello to the Chicago Cities and Schools Youth Charity Group. Compliments of the good folks at Builder Square. Kevin Gross on the mound will be facing Mark Grace, Derek May, Rick Wilkins. 3 straight left-handed batters in the Cub 4th inning. Grace his first time up. One hopper back to the pitcher.
Now, it was about this time in Los Angeles when the Cubs started to get used to Kevin Gross and started to hit the ball a little better.
Well, Gross has been, well, you go all the way back to spring training. He had to miss a lot of time with tendonitis in the right arm. And he says about the 5th, 6th inning this season at various starts, it's started to bother him. We're in the 4th right now. And a lazy fly ball into shallow left field. Henry Rodriguez is there, and now he almost misjudged it. Wind got a hold of that ball. It's blowing in off Lake Michigan, just under 10 miles an hour. But it gets up that high, it'll play tricks on you.
Henry Rodriguez thought he had it all the way, and at the last instant, he has to make a lunge and reach out and grab it.
So Grace 0 for 2, and here's Derek May. He struck out with a runner at third in the first inning and looks at strike 1 here. The Dodgers only 1 game over 500. But in that National League Western Division, that's good enough to be top dog. In fact, 2 games better than defending champion, or at least I should take that back, the defending runner-up, the San Francisco Giants.
Well, the Dodgers were sailing along, doing a pretty good job until they ran into this road trip, and they're just 1-5 on this swing.
Broken bat roller down to third. Wallach plants, throws, and got him.
Karros moved in back of the bag, and it looked for an instant like he might have taken his foot off the bag, but Jerry Davis said he had enough of the bag, as you see him move back here. And the foot on the bag just a little bit ahead of Derek May. So Wallach doesn't have a real strong arm anymore. He tries to compensate by getting it over there quickly, but he floats a lot of throws across the diamond.
Rick Wilkins grounded out Eric Karros his first time up, and this time to Ingram at second base. He juggles but recovers, and that'll do it. A very brief 1-2-3 inning for Kevin Gross. We played 4. We are scoreless.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN is brought to you by Buick and your better Buick dealers, the new symbol for quality in America.
Ever since Southwest Airlines introduced Friends Fly Free, people have gotten friendlier.
Sugar Plum, your favorite pillow.
If you make reservations and buy your round-trip ticket at our regular low unrestricted fare, a friend gets to fly with you, free.
Hey, Dad, seen the head shimmer?
There's no advance purchase, and tickets are fully refundable.
Here's that putter I borrowed last year. Oh, buddy.
Southwest Airlines Friends Fly Free. It's great for your pocketbook and your popularity.
Hi, I'm Jim Palmer for the Money Store. Even if your credit is less than perfect, you can still refinance your first mortgage at today's low fixed rates. That's because the Money Store looks at your total credit picture and won't automatically disqualify you for late payment. At the Money Store, you can apply by phone, and there's no application fee. So if you want to refinance at today's low rates, even if your credit isn't perfect, call 1-800-LOAN-YES. The Money Store, where America goes for money.
Where'd Alec Gates' mom and dad get what it takes to create this great playroom for their future Hall of Famer? Let's go back to square one. Builder Square can help you get even the biggest job off the drawing board. All the cabinetry, paneling, trim, and molding. Whatever you're remodeling, remember who has it all from wall to wall at great square deal prices.
Better the plan, better the project.
Builder Square.
They'll get you squared away.
Jake Cardigan's adventure continues.
Fine, Excalibur. It's just a fancy sword.
Backlash. Tonight at 11:30 on WGN Channel 9.
Tom Brenneman, Steve Stone back at Wrigley Field in Chicago. No score, Dodgers and the Cubs in the opener of this three-game weekend series. We're set to begin the fifth. Karras, Mondesi, and Ingram due up. And the Dodgers in search of their first hit of the game. Strike one to Karras. He grounded to short his first time up.
Karras is trying to extend a 12-game hitting streak. During that streak, he's hit a robust 500. And he came in hitting 300 on the nose.
And you notice the change in Eric Carro's stance as a hitter. He has now opened up. He used to be a little bit closed, not much.
Well, he's doing exactly what Matt Williams and Andres Galarraga did. They completely changed their stance, Tommy. And the head is now very much looking out at the pitcher with both eyes instead of just one eye. The open stance. I know for sure that Williams and Galarraga say now they see the ball a whole lot better than they saw it before.
Strike three called on the outside corner. Karras goes down looking. Fourth strikeout of the game for Steve Traxel.
And from the Southwest Plainview camera, we'll see a sweeping breaking ball outside. And fairly well outside. But once again, Bob Davidson has been consistent. He's calling him out there all day long.
So here's a highly touted rookie, Raul Mondesi. Mondesi had a 14-game hitting streak come to an end when the Cubs visited Dodger Stadium. He comes in with 13 here today, and now it goes to 14 again.
And now you have to be careful with Mondesi at first. Because although Mondesi has not yet picked up the intricacies of base running in the major leagues, he is the fastest of the Dodgers. He's stolen 7. He's been caught 6 times. As we take a look at the first hit of the game, it looked like one of those split-finger fastballs that stayed up. Mondesi didn't hit it very hard, but hit it in a good spot. So the Dodgers have their first hit.
It is a scoreless game, so Mondesi over at first. You had best beware. Grace here to hold him close. Here's Gary Ingram. Ingram struck out, ending the second inning. Traxel has become a very deliberate pitcher here of late. We didn't see much of that early in the season, but as he has began to slump, well, all of a sudden he's taking a lot more time out there on the mound.
Well, he certainly has slowed things down, and you look at Gary Ingram up through the Dodger system, a 44th round draft choice in 1989, and that is way down there, but he made it through the system, and now he's in the big leagues, and he's hit the ball pretty well wherever he's gone. He's shown good speed, not great speed, and not a whole lot of power, but he's made the conversion to second base, and he's made it rather smoothly.
Yeah, and then the Dodgers go out and get Delino to Shield.
Well, sometimes you make the wrong conversion.
Strike one to Ingram. The Dodgers' only threat of the game came in the first inning when Traxel walked Offerman and Piazza back-to-back. Wallach fly to deep right center field with Offerman tagging and going down to third, but then with runners on the corners, Rodriguez struck out against Traxel to end the threat and the inning. Cubs are trying to end a pair of losing streaks. Overall, as you know, they've knocked down 9 straight losses, and they're trying to end a 6-game skid here in the unfriendly confines. At least in 94, only 9 wins against 20 losses this season in Chicago. Tuffy Rhodes waiting, and he'll make the play, sending Mondesi back to the bag. 2 away in the Dodger fifth.
Well, it's easy to figure out why this current slump is where it's at, Tommy, and It's almost amazing when you consider the Cubs now in 9.5 games have a grand total of 10 extra base hits. And that coincides almost exactly with the losing streak, but for some reason the bats have just ceased almost completely. And when that happens, you just have to do a little more running. I mean, you're going to have to do something to try to shake them up, and you can't obviously sit back and wait for the long ball because it hasn't been anywhere near where the Cubs have been playing of late.
Once again, we'd like to wish Wanda Taylor of the Cubs Media Relations Office a happy birthday. 35 years young and very available. 0-1 to Kevin Gross. And that comes from your good friend Sharon Panazzo, by the way, Wanda. I didn't add that to the copy. She's a sweet lady.
Outfield playing Kevin Gross around toward right center field. But the home run he hit was in left field in Dodger Stadium, and it was a bomb.
Corpus Christi, Texas. Looks like those fans have made it in. 0-2 now to Kevin Gross. You've passed through Corpus Christi, Texas, haven't you?
No, I played in Amarillo. That was my second stop in my journeys through the Giants minor league system. Never made it to Corpus Christi.
You were very popular, though, in Amarillo.
Oh, it was a great city. A good time. They had a big Texan steakhouse, Tommy. They had a deal. A 72-ounce steak. If you could eat it, you got it for nothing.
What'd you pay for it if you didn't?
You had to pay, at that time, you had to pay $10. And your blood looked a lot like Pennzoil after you assimilated all that cholesterol. I never saw anybody eat it. I assume somebody did. It really wasn't a steak. It was half a cow. But they had it there at the Big Texan. That's one of the few memories I have of my Double-A season in 1970.
Now, that really gives our viewers a little insight to your age at home.
I was 6 years old playing Double-A. I mean, I was a real little pitcher.
0-2. Strike three called to Gross. That'll end the inning. The Dodgers get a hit. They leave a runner on. Middle of the fifth. Still no score.
Budweiser, official beer of the 1994 World Cup, is proud to welcome the world to America. As a proud supporter of the World Cup, Budweiser urges soccer fans to do what their heroes do. Use your head. Know when to say when. A reminder from Budweiser, official beer of the 1994 World Cup.
Next case.
Your Honor, this man is charged with a violation of the Fast Food Fraud Act.
Throw the book at him!
Order of the court.
He was seen leaving his job at a famous hamburger restaurant to eat at Mr. Submarine.
Is there any evidence?
Exhibit A, a lean and tender roast beef sub. Exhibit B, a turkey sub. And Exhibit C, a chicken sub.
Bailiff, clear the court while I study the evidence.
Mr. Submarine features lean and tender roast beef and fresh baked bread from Toronto.
Case dismissed for lack of evidence.
I like to start my day with the Tribune before my daughter wakes up. And then I'd see the story on the front page and read about some poor child struck down and learn their name and their face that otherwise no one would have known about.
And then I'd go into Ben's room and say thank you to all the angels that he's here with his mom and not there in the paper.
That's what the Tribune means to me. There's nothing more important than saving our kids.
You just spray it on?
You just spray it on.
New Quicksilver Wheel Cleaner from Armor All. Just spray it on, and then just spray it off.
That's it? That's it.
Quicksilver Wheel Cleaner.
This is WGN-TV, Chicago.
Well, not many folks out on Lake Michigan today, as we brought up earlier. Oh, yeah, it might be the 10th of June, but only 61 degrees here in Chicago today. The retired jersey down the right field line of Billy Williams, and, of course, down the left field line, number 14, Mr. Cub himself, Ernie Banks.
Ernie's playing in that Ronald McDonald Michael Jordan golf tournament this weekend. Saw some pictures of Ernie. And there is number 14 hanging high atop the flagpole at Wrigley Field.
You know, the other jersey, I've always wondered why they've never retired another Hall of Famer from those teams of the 60s and early 70s.
Dave Rosello?
No, not that one. 31, Ferguson Jenkins. I mean, go figure.
6 years in a row winning 20 games in this ballpark is an accomplishment that I don't believe will ever even be close to being equal.
No. I mean, the great Greg Maddux, and we all know what he has done, did do for the Cubs, and has done with Atlanta. He was only a 20-game winner here one time. There's a base hit by Sammy into left field to begin the 5th. So in this scoreless game, Sosa, like Mondesi a moment ago, becomes a real threat on the bases. He has 10 of them, has been thrown out 8 times.
Well, we talked before about the fact that Kevin Gross is slow to home, and when you do have a base runner in a base running situation, if you don't run, you risk the double play. And that's what happened in the second. So let's see if the Cubs can pick up their second stolen base. Duffy Rhodes stole a base after he singled in the first inning and ran himself into scoring position.
Buechele has had the last couple of days off. He has been mired in a terrible slump. 12 hits in his last 74 at-bats. Boy, the Cubs have so many players right now, key players, that are in long, long droughts. And Buechele bunts. Gross will barehand and play to first. And they throw behind the runner, and able to make the grab was Offerman. Karras almost threw that ball into left field.
For the second time this year, Steve Buechele gets a bunt down, and it's a good one. Gross has one play. Karras alertly trying to pick up an out at second base, but Sammy is back. Watch it again. Heads up by Sosa, though. He's back under the throw.
Did they rule that a sacrifice bunt?
I would think they'd have to. He obviously gave himself up.
Well, okay. I just thought he was bunting for a hit. Not that Buechele does that regularly, mind you, but maybe to try and catch him by surprise. Sean Dunston, the batter, and he looks at a strike. Never mind. I'm sure I wasn't the only one questioning that.
Well, I think if we went from person to person in this grand stadium of ours, they would think that it was a sacrifice.
Well, if they heard it over the PA system, they certainly would. Dunston has been one of the hot hitters for the Cubs here of late. He singled his last time up, and he punches it through the hole here. But they'll hold the runner Sosa at third. So runners at first and third. Yeah, okay, after a second look.
He squared around pretty early.
You're right.
And I would have to call that a sack. And the only two guys that have been hitting of late are the two guys that have 2 hits each today, and that is Sammy Sosa and Sean Dunston. And now Steve Traxel up. He did sacrifice in the third, but he is fully capable, as we mentioned before, of the old Oral Hershiser trick of pulling the bat back and just whacking it in the infield somewhere. Now, the infield is in, and you think about the suicide, but Traxel's a pretty good hitter. Well, let's see what Tom Trebelhorn has in mind. You can also use a safety squeeze. Doesn't necessarily have to be a suicide.
Runners at first and third. Dunston held by Karras. He'll come in. And now Gross backs off the rubber. You know, you brought up Sosa and you bring up Dunston. It makes you kind of scratch your head with Sean so hot right now. Batting lead off the last couple of games and now being dropped to the 8th spot. Well, he was showing the bunt there, strike one.
Well, that would have been the safety squeeze. You don't necessarily have to run if you're at third base. It's Tony Muser looking in at Tom Trebelhorn. Then he will flash the sign to Steve Traxel. see if he's going to give him a chance to swing away here. Well, I agree with you, Tommy. We talked about it before, about Sean batting at the top. He gives you the great speed as a leadoff hitter, and he is hitting just about everything in sight over the last week.
Runners at first and third. Sosa and Dunston. Here's a bluff throw to third. And nobody tugging on that line, so Traxel will back out of the box and get ready for the 0-1 pitch here in a moment. No score, last of the fifth. Dunston held by Karras at first. Sammy across the diamond at third. And Steve Traxel with a chance to knock in the game's first run. Did he offer it the pitch? No. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Steve Traxel has squared around a couple of times. Outfield very shallow for Traxel, and they're swung around toward the right center field.
Cubs trying to strike first here in the last of the fifth. And it's bunted up the first base side. Karras looks Sosa back to third and throws on to first for the out. So Traxel, the second sacrifice of the game. Runners at second and third, 2 down, and it's up to Tuffy Rhodes.
You take a look and you see and you watch Sammy. He's looking to see where the ball goes, and really no chance to score. A good play by Karras on this type of bunt. If you can push it by the first baseman, you got a chance to score the run. If not, you get the sacrifice. But you give yourself just one chance to get the runs home. And the one chance in the form of Tuffy Rhodes.
Tuffy single to center, stole a base, was left at third in the first inning. He grounded to Ingram at second base in the third. A hit might mean 2 here, and now the pitch. And it's in there, a fast strike. Wallach well off the line at third. They play him to pull on the infield, or at least they bunch quite a bit on the infield. You see Wallach in the distance from the bag. The outfield shades Rhodes as an opposite field hitter. Sammy at third, Dunston at second. 2 down in the inning. And now the 0-1. And excuse me, swing, foul ball.
Well, you really have to protect here away. They've been going low and in on Tuffy a lot. But with the strike zone that Bob Davidson's been calling today, Tuffy's got to be careful. Usually he's got pretty good extension on the outside. In fact, that is the pitch that he hits best.
Cubs and Dodgers are scoreless here in the bottom of the fifth inning. Cubs threatening with Sosa at third, Dunston at second. 2 down in the inning. And an 0-2 pitch coming from Gross to Rhodes. The OK's his sign. And now the pitch. Breaking ball that he fouled off.
I think they have to have a word with Kevin Gross, because Jose Offerman was standing on second base when Gross delivered the ball. And that's not where you'd like him to be. He had broken in back of Sean Dunston. They had a pickoff play. Gross didn't see it. And when the pitch was on the way, there was nobody home on the left side of the infield. All Tuffy had to do was hit a ground ball that way, and it had gone through for 2 runs.
Tuffy with a chance. He's down 0-2 with 2 away in the inning. Runners at second and third. Rhodes has knocked in 15, and he has been sitting on that number for a long, long time. How long, you ask? Rhodes has not knocked in a run since the 18th of May. The 0-2. He tried away and didn't get the call.
That went just a little further than Bob Davidson's zone today, but he went out there and gave it a shot. Dunston has to be heads up at second base. Offerman looks like he's about ready to go in behind him again.
Dunston and Sosa, second and third. In the air to left field. This should end the inning. Rodriguez near the line. makes the grab, and that'll do it. 2 hits, 2 left. We go to the 6th. Still no score.
If you want the cool stuff.
Very cool.
If you want the hot stuff.
Even sweat, she gets me hot.
If you want the funny stuff.
Hey, well, who doesn't? Piston fans.
Step up to a different world.
We are here to load up on fun so we won't need to have any when we're married.
A full hour of fun.
What is it about this time of the year that turns these children into babbling fools?
A different world. Starting Monday at 5 on WGN.
At Burger King, you're number 1 with us. So just for you, we've gone the BK Broiler one better. Now it's even bigger than the one before, with more all-white meat chicken for an even bigger value than the one before. Of course, it's still flame broiled because that's one taste we know you love. The new BK Broiler. It's one big taste for one big value, and we'll make one specially for you at Burger King.
Hi, welcome to Burger King.
We may not be the world's number 1 fast food place. It just tastes that way with the new BK Broiler.
If you like baseball cards, you'll love Card Baseball, the new baseball board game that brings your cards to life. You'll use the stats from your favorite cards. It's fun, easy to play, and perfect for anyone 8 years and up.
Available at Chicagoland Toys R Us stores.
Some things just don't need a date stamped on them to tell you how fresh they are. You can tell how fresh they are just by looking. Not so with Diet Colas. Until now. Now Diet Pepsi introduces freshness dating. A date stamped on every Diet Pepsi that guarantees the taste you love will be at the absolute peak of freshness. Freshness dating from Diet Pepsi.
This is WGN-TV, Chicago.
No score at the end of 5. Dodgers coming to bat here in the 6th inning. They'll send up the top of the order. Brett Butler, Jose Offerman, and Mike Piazza. Ball 1 to Butler, who is 0 for 2. He has popped to third and bounced to the mound.
Tom W. Brenneman, the W for Weasel. We're back at Wrigley Field on a beautiful day for baseball.
Down the left field line, foul. Hey, later tonight on GN, in a bizarre techno future, a monarch is murdered by a knight in shining armor. Don't miss a special episode of William Shatner's acclaimed series, It's Tech Lab, tonight at 11:30 on WGN Channel 9.
Well, now it's up to Steve Traxel. Cubs had an opportunity to score, didn't. Now Traxel's got to hold them down.
2-1 on Brett Butler.
You do a great job holding down the Dodgers by retiring Butler at the top. He is one of the keys, a lot like Lenny Dykstra to the Phillies.
And strangely enough, we have seen Dykstra in a couple of different series already this season. Didn't do much damage, yet the Phillies have won 5 of the 6 meetings. On the other side, when the Cubs beat the Dodgers in L.A., very little noise made by Brett Butler. Off the end of the bat, Bouchel charges, throws, and he got him at first. Grace able to stretch out and keep the foot on the bag.
Pretty much helps when you're close, looking for the bunt. And Bouchel in close. This one just wide of the bag, and Mark Grace able to keep the foot on the bag to retire Butler. Well, Lenny didn't do a great deal of hitting against the Cubs, Tommy. What he did do was draw a couple of bases on balls, and just seemingly every time he did, he found a way to score. Well, if you're sitting in the sun, you can dress like that. If you're in the shade, it's a little cooler here in Chicago.
Strike 1 to Jose Offerman. The Dodgers shortstop is walked and bounced back to the mound. No score, top of the 6th inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. Let's sneak out for a station ID on the Cubs television network.
This is America's #1 sports station, WGN-TV, Chicago.
2-1 now to Jose Offerman.
Offerman trying to do anything just to get that batting average up. He was hitting .270 most of last year, but this year hasn't been able to get on track.
Mike Piazza waits on deck. Dodgers have been held in check to only one hit in the game, a bloop single to right center leading off the fifth inning, or rather with one out in the fifth inning by Raul Mondesi. And that's been all.
And with all the off days, Tom Trebelhorn has elected to go with a four-man pitching rotation. So that will mean that Bully is back in the Bully once again. They will use Jim Bullinger as a bullpen pitcher for a bit.
On the ground to Sandberg, and there are two away. Celebrate the 80th anniversary of Wrigley Field with an exclusive tour of the friendly confines. Private tours of Wrigley Field will take place throughout the summer season, and they're available for just a $10 donation to Cubs Care Charities. Now, remember, reservations are required. Space is limited, so call the Cubs now at 312-404-CUBS. And there's a look at Jim Bullinger, who has had two fine starts back-to-back. One in Atlanta, the other against Philadelphia, but apparently not good enough for a team that has a 4.86 ERA.
Well, the man who has looked most impressive since coming to the major leagues, it's only been 2 starts granted, but Kevin Foster has thrown the ball exceptionally well. So certainly he's right in the middle. Anthony Young has pitched a lot of innings, although has made a bad pitch on occasion, and Willie Banks has had a couple of great games along with Steve Traxel, and there's your 4.
Mike Morgan is due to start again on June the 17th. That'll be on a road trip. And that start, well, let's see, a week from today, it'll be against the Giants at Candlestick. Well, the Giants have just been decimated further by injuries. You knew about Robbie Thompson, Rod Beck early in the year, and now Willie McGee is torn his Achilles tendon, finished for the year more than likely, and Mike Jackson has come down with a sore right elbow. Who is that? Was that Darren Dreifert?
Might be Darren Dreifert.
Wow.
Quality major league bubble.
Two and two to Mike Piazza, who has walked and bounced to Sandberg. Steve Traxel has only allowed one Dodger hit through 5 2/3 innings. He's trying to retire the side here in the 6th inning in order. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Traxel at one point retired 12 straight. Mondesi got the single. Now he's retired the last 4. The 3-2 to Piazza. Foul ball.
He did a good job of staying alive there because he was completely fooled on the breaking ball from Steve Traxel. Was able to get the head of the bat out and foul it off to stay alive.
The 3-2 again, and Traxel is headed for the dugout. That's a call that he's gotten most of the day. But it's called ball 4. Piazza aboard, and Wallach gets a chance here in the 6th inning.
From the Southwest Plainview camera, we'll take a look at a ball that's a couple inches off the outside corner. And this time he does not get the call. Have to be careful with Wallach, because usually in this park, even when he's struggling, he hits the ball well. And this year he hasn't been struggling a great deal with his 14 home runs and 45 driven in.
Piazza not much of a threat to run over at first base. And it's in there for a strike.
Good knee buckling curveball. You saw the knees of Tim Wallach as that one snapped over the outside corner. That was a very good rotation pitch. And watch the legs of Wallach. He sees the curve. Boom. Oh, how about that?
like when you're standing and your legs are completely straight, no bend in them, and somebody comes up behind you and just a little pop to the back of the leg.
Yeah, that's surprising.
That's a great hazing move. 0-1 delivery, and it's a little high and away.
Reggie Smith, the hitting instructor of the Dodgers, was the man that went to Wallach and said, look, you're a fly ball hitter. You just have to accept that. We have to find a way to make you hit fly balls once again for power. Because Wallach had a tendency to get under everything. And the last 3 years, he hit in the low 220s. Reggie Smith has him believing in himself, and Wallach has responded.
Waves through that pitch. And now 1-2 on Tim Wallach. Piazza down at first, no score. We're in the 6th inning. 2 men are out. Cubs have 5 hits. The Dodgers only 1. Fraxel, the native Californian, set to go. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Wallach. Piazza short lead at first. 2-2.
You always would like to throw a man with an uppercut swing high. You don't want to throw him anything thigh high or lower. That's a pitch that he can take out of the park. Good letter high fastball is a nice spot for this one. Really hard for a guy with an uppercut swing to get the top hand over on the ball and hit down on it.
Boy, Andre Dawson used to do that as well as anybody.
It's going to be the hook, though, Tommy.
And he stays alive by fouling it back.
And that was a bit of a hanging hook. That's not what Steve Fraxel had in mind as that one came spinning up there. Andre Dawson could get on top of some high fastball. But he had a completely different swing than Tim Wallach. And, in fact, a completely different swing than a lot of them. We're going to take a look in at Rick Wilkins. Let you know what he's calling. And we'll see if Fraxel can get it there. There's a fastball. It's going to be in. And hopefully it'll be up.
2-2 to Wallach. Long drive, deep left field. Derek May back to the warning track. Goodbye on to Waveland Avenue. So he came with a fastball, and as Stoney brought up, it was down below the belt in Wallach's wheelhouse, and the Dodgers have taken a 2-0 lead. Wallach 15 home runs on the season.
And just like that, a 2-run deficit, 47 driven in. Watch it again, and watch Wallach. He just reaches out and crushes it. A lot more bat speed these days for Tim Wallach. You wanted that one letter high or above. You might have thrown it by him, but you weren't going to throw it by him where that one was.
So the Dodgers celebrating, a team that has had a tough time away from home this season. Maybe we'll get another shot of that home run swing from our center field camera and get an idea of exactly where that pitch was. Here we go. Well, we showed you Wilkins calling for the fastball inside.
Now we'll see it there. It's a little above the belt, but you're looking at something above the letters, what you want to do when you throw to a guy with an uppercut swing. And unfortunately for Steve, and fortunately for Wallach, that one went a long way into the wind.
Wallach 15 home runs now, 47 runs batted in. That one in the air to shallow right. Sandberg watching Sosa, and that will end the inning. But not before the Dodgers strike first. 2 runs, 1 hit. Go to the bottom of the 6th. Dodgers 2 on Wallach's home run, and the Cubs nothing.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN is brought to you by Pepsi. Be young. Have fun. Drink Pepsi.
Oh, why are you still up, 23?
Oh, I can't sleep, 20D. I'm on the edge of my seat.
It's all the new non-stops, isn't it?
Yeah, more daily non-stops to Baltimore, Washington International.
Yeah, and don't forget, more daily non-stops to Louisville and St. Louis.
Gosh, I'm so excited, I can't sit still.
We're trying to sleep back here.
Better sit back and relax. It's really late.
Good night, 20D.
Good night, 20C.
It's a round world, genuine and true. It keeps on spinning and you always come through. And you're giving it your best. Proud to be your bud. Budweiser. Proud to be your bud. Proud to be your bud. Ooh, yeah. Proud to be your Proud to be your bud.
It's no accident why we bought the Buick LeSabre. Dual airbags, anti-lock brakes, child safety locks. And the price was safely within our budget.
There's a number of things that I really like about my new Buick Century. And I like this number, too.
That 350 cubic inch V8 in my new Buick Roadmaster is a real whopper. Fortunately, the price wasn't.
Bobby Rush, Buddy Ace, and Sun Seals. Mary B. hosts an all-new blues going on. Sunday night at 10:30 on WGN Channel 9.
2-0 ball game. Dodgers in front of the Cubs. Kevin Gross has surrendered the 5 hits. And he'll be facing Sandberg, Grace, and Derek May here in the Cub inning. Gross, a 4-3 record. A 4.05 ERA. But he's been very sharp. And again, Gross brought up with us at Dodger Stadium a couple of weeks ago that tendonitis tends to flare up on him later in the game. So we'll see. Sandberg struck out with a runner at third, ending the third inning. He lined to second in the first. And Sandberg, one of those Cub hitters we talked about, as the averages slipped down to 240. And Rhino only one hit in his last 26 times up.
Well, the Cubs do have some hope, because if Kevin Gross does not go the distance, and odds are overwhelming that he will not go the distance, Dodgers have had their problems out of the bullpen of late. I assume that Tommy Lasorda is going to have to turn over the stopper spot exclusively to Todd Worrell, with only 2 saves but a fine ERA.
Well, some of the fans enjoying the old ball game here today.
And it's floppy hat day, Tom.
I know it. Wallach will have to hurry, and it's in time to get Sandberg. That's always one of the more popular giveaways here at Wrigley Field. Arnie Harris used to regularly wear a floppy-like hat. It was all white back in the old days. I remember meeting him as a teenager. And the first time I met Arnie Harris, he had on that sailor's cap.
I remember meeting him as a teenager. And with those floppy ears, that floppy hat looks real good.
Keep trying to talk Little Arnold into going back and bringing that into fashion again. He doesn't seem much interested. 0-1 to Mark Grace, who is 0 for 2. Now a ball to strike. Derek May waits on deck. Cubs are trailing 2-0 last of the 6th inning. Well, there they are. Did you get one of those, Tony?
I did not get a floppy hat today, but there will be a hat or two in my future.
There'll be a lot. Into left center field, Butler and Rodriguez standing there, and Brett will take it 2 away.
Well, so far, Kevin Gross just sailing right along. Looking at his year this year, this is his 12th start. He has not completed a game yet. Looking at his year last year, he had 32 starts. He completed 3. So I don't know if he can go the distance, but he's got pretty good stuff today.
Well, the Cub batters over the last, well, not necessarily the 5th inning, but in the 4th and again the 3rd, he wasn't going any more than 1-2 pitches deep to any batter. And that has been the case again here in the 6th as Sandberg and Grace, and Derek May going up there swinging, and this time missing. He's down a strike. We'll be on the air again tomorrow. It'll be Willie Banks and Oral Hershiser. And then on Sunday, Anthony Young and the knuckleballer Tom Candiotti. Back to the mound, leaping up there and pulling it off the iron was Gross, and he flips on for the assist, which will end the inning. Little slice of heaven, as always, boys and girls. We go to the 7-2 Dodgers.
There's a number of things that I really like about my new Buick Century. And I like this number, too.
While half and half tastes great, it has its share of cholesterol and saturated fat. Fortunately, there's Mocha Mix, non-dairy creamer. All the rich, creamy taste of half and half, but no cholesterol. And low in saturated fat. And the newest Mocha Mix is fat-free. You can't get any lower than that. Now, if one of the makers of half and half stumbled on that fact, you can imagine how they'd react. Mix it up with Mocha Mix, the smarter way to cream your coffee. Original, light, and fat-free.
Hot times in the city, fun times everywhere.
This summer, Metra's your ticket to fun. Now through Labor Day, our popular weekend family fairs are good on weekdays, too. You'll enjoy the convenience, while the kids enjoy an exciting train ride. Let Metra help you find your place in the sun.
Metra, the way to really find.
Where'd Alec Gates' mom and dad get what it takes to create this great playroom for their future Hall of Famer? Let's go back to square one. Builder's Square can help you get even the biggest job off the drawing board. All the cabinetry, paneling, trim and molding. Whatever you're remodeling, remember who has it all from wall to wall at great square deal prices.
Better the plan, better the project.
Builder's Square.
They'll get you squared away. Is your team in last place? Did they put anchovies on your pizza? Did you get gum stuck in your hair? Then you need to step up to a different world. That's what you need to do.
Harry Carey with Steve Stone and now Tom Brenneman as we go in the top of the 7th. Tim Warlick's 2-run homer finds the Dodgers leading 2-0. There's a pitch inside. Joey Amalfitano once played for the Cubs, managed the Cubs, now the third base coach for Tommy Lasorda for a long time. Working at third base, a pitch wild.
Now, Wallach had a 3-0 green light earlier in the game. I'm not sure if they're going to give it to Karros, but he does have the hitting streak, although it's a modest 12 games. He is strong enough to take him out of the ballpark, so Traxel has got to beware.
There's a strike call. 3-1. I know Jim Bont was on with you on the leadoff man. An interesting novel that he's written. I haven't had a chance to read it yet. Here's a line drive base hit for Karras.
That's a 13-game hitting streak.
It's about an umpire who's trying to fix a ball game.
Fixes a game.
An interesting plot. There's Mondesi, who extended his hitting streak and who's a cinch to be Tommy Lasorda's 3rd straight Rookie of the Year in the last 3 years. Runner at first. Throw over the first, runner back. Boy, oh boy, Traxel's only given 3 hits. There's a drive way back in the left field. Going to be caught, and Derek May is there. Mondesi flies deep. to May in the left field corner.
Fortunately, the wind is blowing in today, or this would have been the second two-run homer. Mondesi very strong, chasing Derek May all the way back 350 feet from home plate. And in every other ballpark in the National League, that's a home run, but not here at Wrigley Field. So what they give you in left center field, they take away down the line.
There's Gary Ingram, 0 for 2. Big crowd on the end. Cubs trying to avoid. There's a ground ball, deep short, nice play. Bad throw. It'll be go for a base hit, I'm sure. Dunson made a fine play to his right. Tried to throw off balance, threw it low and wide of Sandberg, and both men are safe.
Good effort by Dunson to get to this ball. Then he has to go in the air. Tries to flip it across, and Sandberg can't get to it. So Ryno has to act like a first baseman here. This one-hop throw just hops over the glove, and it does go as a hit, and deservedly so.
Kevin Gross, good hitting pitcher. Runners at first and second with one out. They're expecting Gross to bunt. Be careful. This guy can hit. He tried to bunt, was going to bunt, pulled the bat back, took a strike.
Might not be a bad idea here to try the pickoff play at second.
Reggie Smith, coaching in first base. Fine switch hitter. Power from both sides of the plate. That evens a count.
Take a look down at Joey Amalfitano, who's looking in at Tommy Lasorda. The reason why I talk about the pickoff play at second is Karros doesn't have great speed, and he knows that Gross is going to try to bunt the ball. He wants to hustle and get to third, and sometimes you can get him taking the false step and getting out at second base.
Bill Russell, who you saw alongside Tommy Lasorda, is the heir apparent. Any time that Tommy decides he's tired of managing, Bill Russell will be his successor. 1 ball, 1 strike. Low and outside. 2-1.
That time Gross did pull the bat back and was going to take a swing.
We know he can hit the ball. He hit a 3-run homer off Jose Guzman at Dodger Stadium. He bunts. The play's going to be to third base. They got him. Karros cut down to third base on Kevin Gross' attempted sacrifice.
Mark Grace got to the ball quickly. This isn't a good bunt. It hops straight up. And he wants to bunt it at third. He can't get it there. And Grace in quickly. And they get the force out. Watch the play at third again. No chance for Karros to beat this one. And a heads-up play by Buechele, who got the back of his heel clipped by Eric Karros.
Boy, it's amazing how the lack of hitting in the home ballpark for the Cubs. Now here is Brett Butler with runners at first and second. Cubs trail 2-0. 1 ball, no strikes. Butler's 0 for 3 so far.
And on a base hit, we could see a play at the plate because they are very shallow in the outfield, as you would expect for Brett Butler. But you have to be careful because when he sees this alignment many times, he'll try to get out front and pull it down the line. Sosa's very shallow in right. And they're playing Butler like he doesn't have any power at all. And he's got 3 home runs this year, so occasionally he can put a charge into the ball.
Butler, a true left-handed hitter. Outside, 2-0. And Offerman would be next. Butler hitting .327 after going 0 for 3 today. Ingram at second. Gross at first. Strike call, 2-1. The Cubs beat the Dodgers 2 out of 3. And the Dodgers were leading the division then, just as they are now. At Dodger Stadium. Here at Wrigley Field, playing for the first time this year, the Dodgers lead 2-0. Swung and he missed. Traxel has fanned 5 men. He's walked 3, and deuces are wild right now. Willie Banks will go tomorrow. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Struck him out. It's an outside corner. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 left. We go in the bottom of the 7th. The Cubs are trailing by the score of 2-0. All right!
We met at the policeman's house in my hometown. We've...
2, 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. If they know when it's a shame.
I finally made it to the big leagues. And my first game, we get the call. And I'm thinking, how lucky can a guy get? Beechwood aged for that fresh, distinctive taste. Crisp, clean, classic.
Jake Cardigan lives by a code.
I am still a cop. Always was, and I always will be.
Check Lab. Tonight at 11:30 on WGN Channel 9.
Harry Carey and Steve Stone as we go into the bottom of the 7th. Rick Wilkins will be leading it off. Kevin Gross has not pitched a complete game this year. Has not had a shutout this year. Laura Bojosian and Cassie Ackenbach drove here from Phoenix to see this series. Here's Wilkins. The Cubs have only 5 hits. That's 1 more than the Dodgers have. But the Dodgers have 2 runs. You can't be fun at the old ballpark. A representative crowd. A couple of young ball players. A little bit outside. 2 balls and the strike.
Not just play Wilkins exactly straight away. They're not sure where he's going to hit the ball, although he's played Pepper in the infield so far.
Fouls it back. 2-2. Wilkins has had an off year so far hitting. He's batting only .224. Strike 3 call. Wilkins called out.
Called out on the same pitch that Brett Butler was called out on. That fastball just off the corner. So Gross continues to throw it out there. Davidson continues to call it out there. And you'll see it here. Good fastball. It's outside, but it's been all afternoon the same way, and you can't continue to look at it. You've got to go out there and at least try to foul it off.
That's the third strikeout for Kevin Gross. 33-year-old veteran. Here's Sosa. A little bit outside, ball 1. Only game in the major leagues this afternoon. Everybody else is playing later tonight. High pop foul. Headed for the press box. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sosa.
Sammy's had a pretty good run at it so far, and that young lady is just about as excited as you can get, especially at the ballpark.
Wow. Bouncing ball foul. Boy, can you imagine how she'd react if the Cubs would win the pennant? She can get that excited about a baseball?
Well, right now, Harry, they're looking for a run. The pennant would be nice, but they'd like to push something across for Tom Trebelhorn, who's absolutely tried everything with his lineup to try to get some offense.
There's a high pop fly on the infield. Offerman on the grass makes the catch. 2 gone. Hard to believe. Buechele, nothing out of 1. Well, I don't know what's happened to this team's hitting. Tomorrow, Willie Banks will start. Buechele is 1 out of 16 in his last 8 ball games. Dunston has had 2 out of the 5 Cub hits, and Sosa's had 2. So all the rest put together have had 1. There's a strike.
A lot of youngsters at the ballpark today enjoying this one. And they're going to have to see a Cubs rally. And they're running out of outs.
3 balls and a strike. Two nothing Dodgers. He swung at a terrible pitch. Boy, oh boy.
Steve Buechele has had some problems taking a base on balls of late. That one was a foot inside, and he couldn't check his swing. So he should be standing at first. The inning should still be going. Watch how far this ball is inside.
High pop foul, out of play.
Well, it can be done because the Florida Marlins came back at the Dodgers. They were losing 9-3, and the Dodgers have squandered some leads of late. And this one certainly is not insurmountable. You take a look at the bullpen that has a couple of new members today.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Steve Buechele, Dunston next. Struck him out. 1, 2, 3. At the end of the 7th, 2-0 Dodgers.
We met at the policeman's house in my hometown. We found out that we were expecting, and we kind of had an idea that there might be more than one. I was in the hospital for 3 weeks before the kids were born. And then Taylor and Tyler came along 8.5 weeks early. My Aflac representative was very, very friendly.
Aflac covers the unexpected costs of getting better, so you can get on with life.
Oh, you can't have it. Look at the monkey.
There's a drive! Way back! Could be! Might be!
Hey, not bad.
Hey, Steve, Sean Dunster's been around long enough. You'd think he learned to lay off those curveballs in the dirt. Derek May spelled backwards is yell. Let's get some room.
Well, you know what? One of my favorite expressions.
Ah, Christ!
Bootsy Farnsworth is here from Winnemucca, Nevada.
How would you say that one backwards, Steve?
La bola se va, se va, se va, se va. Home run.
Boy, oh boy. What's wrong with a base on ball?
Hi, I'm Jim Palmer for the Money Store. Right now, you can refinance your first mortgage even if you've been late on some payments in the past. You can apply over the phone, and there's no application fee. So call the Money Store at 1-800-LOAN-YES. That's 1-800-LOAN-YES.
This is WGN-TV, Chicago.
Harry Carey back at Wrigley Field. Dodgers still lead 2-0. Traxel has made just one mistake. I pointed out the tendency each pitcher had to throwing the long ball. 9 homers have been hit off Kevin Gross. Now 15 off of Traxel, so he had already given up 14 before this game. And sure enough, it was a home run that's made the difference. With 2 out, Piazza walked, and Tim Wallach hit his 15th home run of the year. It was also the 15th allowed by Traxel. Offerman, the hitter. Nothing out of 2. Boy, he's hitting under 199. One ball, 2 strikes. He struck him out. He reached for a terrible pitch, then trying to control the swing, but he went around.
7th strikeout for Steve Traxel as Jose Offerman really struggling. Expands his strike zone, and that's all it took.
Here's Piazza. He's walked twice. And 1 out, 1 time it turned to be a very, very important play. With 2 out, the count ran to 3-2. He barely fouled a couple and then walked. And then Wallach hit a 2-run homer. Dave Otto getting ready in the bullpen.
Well, this is going to be the last inning for Steve Traxel as he is due up second in the 8th inning. He'll undoubtedly be taken down for a pinch hitter. He just threw an outstanding game. Now, he has not won a game since the 9th of May. But if he continues to throw the ball as he has thrown it today, he will win a lot of games. Just that his offense has had a hard time getting much of anything generated.
Well, it's the same old lament of a losing ball club. When the Cubs get good pitching, they get no hitting. When they get good hitting, they get no pitching. And that spells out to a bad year. 2 balls and a strike. 1 out. A little bit low. The appeal, he did not go around. Piazza.
Now you want to be careful with Mike Piazza because this is a pitch where he's just squeezing the sawdust out of the bat. If he gets a fastball anywhere in the zone, it's going to be a good, healthy cut. So a tough pitch for Steve Traxel on a hitter's count.
Fouled it back. His last start against the Dodgers, Traxel was hit hard. He's pitching before the home folks. His first start out there might have had something to do with it. But today is pitched superlatively. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Struck him out. Strikeout number 8.
Good changeup. Rick Wilkins wanted a fastball. Traxel shook him off. He thought he could get him on the changeup, and he did just that. Good motion. And you see Piazza well out in front of this one. He's looking fastball all the way, and that was a dandy of a change.
Traxel has fanned 8. And here's Tim Wallach. He has fanned Offerman and Piazza here in this inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2-0 in favor of the Dodgers. The Dodgers leading the National League West by 2 games over the Giants. And Wallach swings and misses. One ball, 2 strikes. 2 out. Ground ball up the middle. Nice play by Dodson, who throws them out. Come on, let's get some runs. 1, 2, 3. We go in the bottom of the 8th. Cubs trail 2-0.
In today's uneasy economy, insurance companies face one financial hazard after another. But one has held a steady course. That company is Aflac.
Here's to you.
I wasn't even looking when my old boss called. He said he had an opening, more responsibility, an office with a great view, even a piece of the business. I told him I'd think about it.
Oh, you got my message?
Yeah, all of them.
Here, but that might still fit.
Dad could be pretty convincing.
For all you do.
Budweiser. Crisp, clean, classic.
Oh, by the way, parked in my spot.
Proud to be your bud.
When it comes to value, Buick beats the imports hands down.
It's a fact, and the public ought to know about it.
Buick Skylark has standard anti-lock brakes. Toyota Corolla and Nissan Altima don't.
Golly, I'm so impressed.
Yet Skylark is value priced over $2,500 less than Corolla, $3,900 less than Altima.
This is the most fantastic story I've ever heard. And every word of it's true, too.
Get more car for your money. See your better Buick dealer today.
At your local True Value, finding someone to help you isn't a problem. Something that just can't be said of those enormous hardware warehouses.
Find them, boys.
Get Rubbermaid's 2-gallon watering can for just $2.57 and Coleman's cooler combo for only $9.99 at True Value. True Value. Help is just around the corner.
If a Cub player hits a homer today, write the distance, date, and your name and send it to WGN. You can fly to Randy Huntley's baseball camp courtesy of Southwest Airlines. Just plain smart.
Harry Carey back at Wrigley Field. And the Cubs are trailing 2-0. Steve Traxel pitched 8 innings, allowed only 4 hits, 2 runs, walked 3, fanned 8. The 80 fan was within 1 of his major league high of 9 strikeouts against the Cardinals.
Glenn Allen Hill is in the on-deck circle, so he'll come on to pinch hit for Steve Traxel, who did a whale of a job today. And Dunston with a couple of hits. Mike Piazza yelling out at his infield to watch the bunt. Dunston, usually when he bunts in this situation, will push it up the right side, and they are way back on the right side for him.
All right. Dunston, who's 2 out of 2. Strike off. You know, Kevin Gross has retired the last 8 men in a row. Kevin Wickland celebrating a birthday here at Wrigley Field. That evens the count.
The reason why Dunston is usually hit so well against Gross is that Gross's bread and butter is a curveball. And when he throws it in the strike zone, Sean Dunston hits that pitch as well as anybody. And more times than not, will either take it right down the third base line or in the hole between third and short. Now Wallach is giving him the whole third base line to hit it down.
Swung and he missed. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That was a slider and a good one. Good, sharp-breaking, short slider. Dunston couldn't pick up the spin, and it was in a perfect spot.
Dunston, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Into the dirt, and there goes Piazza. He's been on his knees all day long as Kevin Gross has had him working back there. Dunston led off the 3rd with a hit, signaled in the 5th. Sosa was stopped at 3rd base. Bouncing ball. Wallach had him play perfectly, and there's 1 away. Here is, no, they had Glenn Allen Hill. Now they go to Kevin Roberson. Roberson, not Hill. Hey, fans, collect all your favorite Cub players and celebrities during Pepsi Photo Card Day. Monday, June 27th, the first 30,000 fans attending the Cubs-Pirates game will receive a Steve Traxel photo card, compliments of Mountain Dew and the Museum of Science and Industry.
Roberson hitting .208, 4 for 20 with a home run and 5 driven in as a pinch hitter this year.
Nine in a row retired by Kevin Gross. He's given up 5 hits.
There has to be a disappointed young man, not in his performance, but in the outcome so far. Because Traxel did everything he could to end this 9-game losing streak overall and 6-game losing streak at Wrigley Field.
1 ball, 1 strike. The low, 2 balls and a strike. Tuffy Rose would be next. He's 1 out of 3. It's delightful in the sunshine. Ball 3 outside. Might be a little cool on the third base side of the grandstand.
Kevin Gross has not walked anybody yet. So this be a nice time to pick up walk number 1 as he starts flexing his arm out there on the mound, and usually that's a sign of a pitcher tiring, especially when he hasn't done it most of the day.
Strike 2 call. Over the outside corner at the knees. 3-2. Big pitch. Struck him out. 10 in a row retired. And that's his 5th strikeout.
One thing Kevin Gross always does is pick up a lot of innings. In fact, 7 different times he's thrown over 200 innings, including the last 2 years. And when you do that, you're saving your bullpen, and usually you're going to get a lot of work because your manager knows you're pretty dependable.
Two out, nobody on. He's retired the last 10 in a row. Fastball inside, ball 1. Now, no activity in the bullpen for the Dodgers. But Chuck Krim and Dave Otto warming up for the Cubs.
Give you an idea how tough it's gotten for the Cubs when they have scored fewer than 4 runs, and their record just 3-23.
Curveball in there, a strike call. Tuffy shortened up the bat as if he were going to bunt. Ball low and away. 3 balls and a strike, and all of a sudden Kevin Gross is falling behind.
Well, I think Gary's starting to get a little tired out on the mound, but so far the Cubs haven't been able to take advantage of it.
3-1. He walked him. And there's his first pass of the day. That brings up Sandberg.
Sandberg has been held in relatively in check. Hasn't hit the ball out of the infield today. And that average has dropped at just 239.
The Cubs could use a big bat right now. Strike call. Sandberg is 1 out of his last 27. Against the Dodgers this year, he's 3 out of 15. Ground ball, that'll be easy. 4 out. Sandberg rolls to Offerman, who throws to Ingram for the out. No runs, 1 left. No hits. At the end of 8, the ball game, 2-0 favor the Dodgers.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, offering frequent flights and low everyday fares, which is why flying Southwest Airlines is just plain smart.
When it comes to value, Buick LeSabre beats Dodge Intrepid. Check it out yourself. Both offer dual airbags and anti-lock brakes, plus power windows, power driver's seat, cruise control, and much more. But to get all this on Intrepid, you have to pay more, over $2,500 more. No wonder Buick LeSabre is the best-selling car in its class with over 5 million sold at last check. See LeSabre for yourself at your local Better Buick dealer.
Does your muffler bang and boom and drive you up the wall? Don't worry, call the car X-Man.
The whole exhaust system was falling apart.
Fix it only what needs fixing, and that's all. Don't worry, call the car X-Man.
They found the problem and only fix what needs fixing. Yeah, they do great work, and that's why I go back to CarX.
Rattle, rattle, thunder, clatter, boom, boom, boom. Don't worry, call the car X-Man.
The secret to a strong finish is endurance. High endurance from Old Spice. All day long it proves it's the longest lasting, hardest working, the best deodorant stick. It evaporates less quickly. It also lasts longer, protects better. Now that's endurance. For the longest lasting, hardest working, the best deodorant stick, demand proof. Get high endurance from Old Spice. You won't go far without it.
Bobby Rush, Buddy Ace, and Sun Seals. Mary B. hosts an all-new Blues Going On. Sunday night at 10:30 on WGN Channel 9.
Corey Snyder is coming out to pinch hit for Rodriguez. Snyder. And Dave Otto's on the hill.
And Snyder is a slugger. He's only had 89 at-bats. He's hit 6 home runs, 16 driven in, hitting .270. 2 for 9 as a pinch hitter. There's the numbers on Dave Otto this year. And his career numbers against the Dodgers.
Snyder at first pitch. Fouls it out of play into the stands down the right field line.
You got Chuck Krim loosening up in the pen, and I thought what was on the mind of Tom Trebelhorn was bring in Otto to face the first hitter. It's supposed to be Rodriguez, but now you're facing the pinch hitter, and you've got dangerous Karros and Mondesi, right-hand hitters after Snyder.
Snyder's had 2 out of 9 as a pinch hitter. Batting .270 for the year. Corey Snyder, the pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Al Osuna and Darren Dreifert getting ready in the bullpen.
That Dreifert is a rookie, a high draft choice, been having a lot of trouble.
He started out pretty tough, Harry. In fact, he had 6 saves almost right off the bat. But then that sinker that was so good, and especially so good at Wichita State, stopped sinking. And of late, the ERA at 5.93 and 0-4 record. So he has been not effective of late.
Swung, fouled it back. Corey Snyder leading off as a pinch hitter wearing the 9th. $36,348. Now there's a true Cub fan. There's a pitch foul out of play.
They're trying anything to get a rally going.
2-2 pitch. Ball 3 is high. Dave Otto. Eric Karros would be next. Hot smash, but Dunston comes up. Throws them out. 1 away.
And I think that's going to be it for Dave Otto. He's going to go to Chuck Krim now. That was the game plan. And Krim will face Karros and Mondesi.
As Krim trots in, we'll be back with more following this message.
Next time on Cheers.
I hope you're ready to change your life because I am.
Sounds like Becky's got marriage in mind.
You love her? Shoot, no.
Our favorite bachelor isn't ready for this.
I don't want this same woman hanging on to me for the rest of my life.
And he'll do just about anything to stay single.
I've handled lots of love-crazed babes who want to become Mrs. Sam Malone.
So, what's his big plan? Just wait and see next time on Cheers.
Tonight at 10:30 on WGN Channel 9.
It was love at first sight, and this is one affair that's still going strong half a century later. It's the story of a St. Louis orphan who joined one of America's greatest families, the game of baseball. I'm Bob Costas. World War II still raged when Harry first heard the call, and he's been calling it his way ever since. join me for a tribute to and a look back at this uniquely American love story. When Harry Met Baseball, Monday, July 11th on WGN Channel 9.
Harry Carey back at Wrigley Field. Chuck Krim takes over. Dave Otto faced one man, retired him, and now Krim comes in.
Chuck Krim at 2-1, the ERA an even 2. On for the 24th time, he's got a save, 27 innings. Given up just 1 home run. He's walked 10, he's fanned 18. Pretty impressive numbers this year for Chuck Krim out of the pen. His career numbers against the Dodgers, he only faced them once in Los Angeles. Through a third of an inning. And there's the outfield.
You know, Steve, it's going to be interesting to see what Tommy Lasorda does. Now, he's going to face Grace, May, and Wilkins. They're all left-handed hitters in the bottom of the ninth. Kevin Gross has retired them all. Every time up, those 3 guys against Gross are nothing out of 9.
Well, I think he's probably already met with Gross and just to find out how Kevin is feeling, and he'll probably at least run him out there to start the 9th and see what happens.
Let's pause here for identification.
This is America's #1 sports station, WGN-TV, Chicago.
Eric Karros takes the strike call. A ball and a strike. Chuck Krim in a relief role. Boy, Traxel, it's really a shame. There's a ground ball, high hop. Throw to first, easy out. Traxel went 8 innings. Allowed only 4 hits. 2 runs. Walked 3. Struck out 8. 1 hit beat him. One swing of the bat. If he loses, it will be because of the home run that Tim Warlick hit. 2 out. His managers see 1 out of 3. Good curveball, strike call. A little bit outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. According to the clock here atop the scoreboard, it's exactly 5 o'clock. Make that 2 minutes past 5. Ground ball, Buechele. 1, 2, 3. And now it's do or die for the Cubs as they come in for their 9th inning, trailing 2-0.
Search for the great sharks, now showing on the 5-story Omnimax screen at the Museum of Science and Industry, Chicago.
Buick Regal is winning the hearts of Americans who once drove imports. Now they're demanding Buick quality, and they appreciate Regal's unique features like remote keyless entry, dual-zone climate controls, and steering wheel radio controls. A combination of features unavailable on Toyota Camry and Honda Accord. In fact, many former import owners now look overseas. Only because they enjoy the view.
Sport Mart has the low price on everything you're looking for. In fact, Sport Mart has the low price so often that we confidently offer you double the difference back if you find it for less anywhere else.
Where'd Alec Gates' mom and dad get what it takes to create this great playroom for their future Hall of Famer? Let's go back to square one. Builder Square can help you get even the biggest job off the drawing board. All the cabinetry, paneling, trim and molding. Whatever you're remodeling, remember who has it all from wall to wall at great square deal prices.
Better the plan, better the project.
Builder Square.
They'll get you squared away.
Jake Cardigan's adventure continues.
Fine, Excalibur.
It's just a fancy sword.
Backlash, tonight at 11:30 on WGN Channel 9.
Harry Carey and Steve Stone as we go. In the bottom of the ninth, Kevin Gross is staying in the ballgame. A lot of managers will go to their closer, but the Dodgers have had trouble getting any results from their closers. Look at the rally caps.
Well, as a team, the Dodgers only have 9 saves, and their number 1 save man, Dreifert, has a .593 ERA, and so you go a little bit longer with your starters. 7 complete games tied for the most in the majors. That's a reflection of some pretty decent pitching and a bullpen that doesn't have a Lee Arthur Smith in it.
I'll tell you the thing that Tommy Lasorda is very well aware of. Sandberg 0 for 4, Grace 0 for 3, May 0 for 3, Wilkins 0 for 3. The second, third, fourth, and fifth place hitters are nothing out of 13. So why fix something that's not broke? I guess he figured.
Let's see if Mark Grace can lead it off here with a base hit and put a little pressure on Tommy Lasorda and Kevin Gross.
Ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Now, Gross gave a little indication last inning, getting behind hitters, that he might be tiring. Ground ball. That's easy. 1 away in the bottom of the ninth. In 8 1/3 innings, he's allowed only 5 hits, no runs, walked only 1, fanned 5, and he's made a total of 115 pitches. 1 away.
So far, this has really been about the best game that Kevin Gross has ever thrown against the Cubs. He has been masterful.
There's the strike call.
He came into this with a 9-16 lifetime record against the Cubs and an ERA just under 5. But today, he's been a completely different pitcher with only 1 walk.
A little tap. Piazza. No, the throw gets away from Karras. And I'm amazed that Gross didn't allow Piazza to take the ball. Gross had to feel it off balance, and that would probably go as a hit. Yep.
It's a very bad angle for Kevin Gross because by the time he gets to this ball, he's got to flip it over the head of Derek May. He's got no angle on the throw, and you see him try to get it over the head of May. If you do that, it's pretty tough on your first baseman. So Karras can't come up with it, and it goes as a base hit. And maybe that will start the rally that gets the Cubs at least a tie.
So runners on at first base, and here's Wilkins. There's a pitch a little bit outside. Whoop. She awakened her baby.
But a true Cub fan nonetheless.
1 ball, no strikes. Bouncing ball. Throw to Gross covering, 2 out. And it's up to Sammy Sosa. The Buick game summary, the Dodgers leading. Gross has had 36 career complete games, 14 shutouts. going for number 15. Traxel also pitched tremendously well. But Wallach's two-run homer in the 6th are the only runs on the board.
And the trainer coming out to take a look. And it looks like Kevin Gross might have hurt his leg covering first base. Ron Peronowski coming out. We'll watch it right here. And it looks like he might have turned his ankle covering first, but usually when a pitcher is 1 out away from a shutout, you have to drag him out of there with a tractor. And Gross, a big, tough guy, wanting to stay in the game. There's a look at Darren Dreifert and Al Osuna, as the Cubs now down to their last out.
Ron Peronowski was out talking to Gross. There's Sammy Sosa, a runner at second. The Cubs, I think, have only had one man as far as third. That was in the 5th. When Sosa singled, was sacrificed to second by Buechele. Stopped at third on Dunston's single to left. Traxel sacrifice. Dunston to second, and Rhodes fouled out. A home run would tie it, and that's what Sammy Sosa is going for. How about that? It's not that warm out there either. 1 strike and nothing. One ball, 1 strike. Oh, for a long one here. Well, Wallach hit one.
Sammy's strong enough. If he gets it, it's going to go out any ballpark. And he's hoping that Gross makes a mistake with one of those curveballs and hangs it out over the plate.
He's thrown 9 of them, the one out of the ballpark. They appealed, but no, he did not swing. 2 balls and a strike. Now ready? Line drive, base hit. A run is in. And Sosa gets his 3rd hit of the day. And the Cubs now trail only 2-1. Sammy's 34th RBI of the year.
This is a rocket, and the reason it's a base hit was that Wallach was guarding against the double. He was going to concede the single. He was over toward the line. He didn't want anything going to his right. And you got to figure Glenn Allen Hill coming on to pinch hit here as Sammy gets a fastball, and he hits it right on the nose. And Glenn Allen Hill now will pinch hit for Steve Buechele.
And it's unusual to see Buechele go out for a pinch hitter, but he's been in a kind of a very bad period here of not hitting much. And so Glenn Allen Hill is going to pinch hit for him. Well, a little tap started all this. Glenn Allen Hill can reach that fence out there. The game's over. Gross makes Glenn Allen Hill bounce the ball back to him on the 1st pitch. And this game is over with 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left in the bottom of the 9th. And the final score, the Dodgers, although out hit by the Cubs, 7-4, have defeated Chicago, handing the Cubs their 10th loss in a row. Final score, Dodgers 2, Cubs 1.
He packs heavy. She packs light. She wears silk. He wears wool. He's comfortable at 68 degrees. She prefers 72. good thing they own a Buick Park Avenue with available dual-zone climate control. 72 for her, 68 for him. Too bad everything isn't as accommodating as Park Avenue. From Buick, the new symbol for quality in America.
To soothe athlete's foot, to relieve the burning, the itching, Desinex does it. But to cure athlete's foot, to kill the fungus that causes it, Desinex does it. Only Desinex has UDA, proven to both soothe the itching and burning and cure even tough athlete's foot cases. To soothe and cure athlete's foot, Desinex does it all. And for jock itch, Cruex is the #1 cure. Cruex cures jock itch.
We're in Oysterville, Washington.
This is my husband, Ray. Everybody knows Ray and Nada. And everyone knows the story.
He fell off the roof cleaning his drain.
And he fell right on his head.
He was in bad shape when we got on scene.
He could have died really easy.
Aflac just worked out great.
Aflac covers the unexpected costs of getting better, so you can get on with life.
I would say he's very hard-headed.
Ever since Southwest Airlines introduced Friends Fly Free, people have gotten friendlier.
Sugar Plum, your favorite pillow.
If you make reservations and buy your round-trip ticket at our regular low, unrestricted fare, a friend gets to fly with you, free.
Hey, Dad, seen the head trimmer?
There's no advance purchase, and tickets are fully refundable.
Here's that putter I borrowed last year. Oh, buddy.
Southwest Airlines Friends Fly Free. It's great for your pocketbook and your popularity.
Zoom maximize the merriment, zoom maximize the grin, zoom maximize the moments in the sun. Grab your Zoom Max when a good time begins, and zoom maximize the fun.
Get your shot with the Canon Sure Shot Zoom Max.
Lots of zooms can shoot across the room, but here's the only one that can zoom maximize the fun.
The Sure Shot Zoom Max from Canon.
Here's the Budweiser player of the day, of course, with 2 out and a runner on at first base, Piazza on a base home ball. Tim Wallach hits his 15th home run of the year to put the Dodgers ahead 2-0, and they won the ball game 2-1. Today's Budweiser player of the game. The producer-director of Cubs baseball is Arnie Harris. Our associate producer, Joe Cornell. The Dodgers and the Cubs meet again tomorrow afternoon at 1:20, and the telecast for WGN begins with the leadoff man at 1 o'clock. Stay tuned now for the 10th inning show. The final again, the Dodgers 2, the Cubs 1. Harry Carey from Wrigley Field. So long, everybody.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN. The Cubs have been brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers who remind you friends know when to say when. Buick and your better Buick dealers, the new symbol for quality in America. Builders Square, for all of your home improvement needs, we'll get you squared away. Aflac, insuring over 38 million people worldwide. The Chicago Tribune, #1 in sports throughout Chicagoland. And by Southwest Airlines. Fly Southwest Airlines. It's just plain smart.
People don't have time anymore to make a decent meal, so they might enjoy rotisserie chicken that's slow roasted and deep marinated the way they do it if they had the time. And my secret recipe. Give someone a good meal at a fair price, and they'll come back to you.
Come on over to KFC and taste for yourself why the Colonel's Rotisserie Gold Chicken is the #1 selling rotisserie chicken nationwide. Get a whole chicken with choice of 2 large side dishes and 4 cornbread muffins or biscuits, all for just $10.99 at KFC.
In this throwaway, disposable world,
It's nice to find things that last. Relationships, neighborhoods, and the businesses in them. Like your neighborhood 76 station. For years, folks have relied on 76 for quality gasolines to help keep their engines clean and running smooth. Nothing lasts forever, but we think a long, long time would be nice. 76. Go with the spirit.
Are you frustrated trying to save money on your long-distance phone bill?
Everybody's got these different plans at different hours and different times and what have you, and I mean, none of us have time for that. Go on and give us savings, Just give it to us.
You've got it. Introducing AT&T True USA Savings. Spend $25 a month and get 20% off your AT&T long-distance calls to anyone, anytime, anywhere in the USA. No gimmicks, no hassle, no calling circles. Just 20% off guaranteed.
I'm going to switch back to AT&T. I want to go back.
Call us at 1-800-PIC-ATT. The call is free, switching is free, and you get 20% off the AT&T calls you make in the USA. Call now and we'll even reward you for saving.
With AT&T True Rewards, you can also get points good for free AT&T minutes or free frequent flyer miles on Delta, United, or US Air.
I love that. That's great.
There's never been a better time to switch to AT&T.
Just one call can get you savings plus rewards. Call us now at 1-800-PIC-ATT.
I ended up going back to AT&T, and I've been very satisfied.
Your true voice.
Jake Cardigan lives by a code.
I am still a cop. Always was, and I always will be.
Tech Lab. Tonight at 11:30 on WGN Channel 9.
The 10th inning is brought to you by your local Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
Welcome to the 10th inning. Well, it was an outstanding performance by Steve Traxel. He threw the ball brilliantly through 8 innings, but his offense really didn't come through. And in this ballpark, you should be able to get away with just one mistake and win the game. But that's not the lot of the Chicago Cubs of late. They went down to defeat for the 10th straight time. It's their low water mark at 14 under 500, and they've lost 7 in a row here at Wrigley Field. And you can look at one thing, and that's the offense. The team is playing better baseball. They're executing better. I believe they are trying, but right now nobody's hitting the ball. Sammy Sosa has done a pretty good job, as has Sean Dunston, but they're getting absolutely no help whatsoever. And it looked for just an instant like the 9th inning would be one where the Cubs would tie it up. It didn't work out that way, and Kevin Gross went the distance, his first complete game of the year. So the Cubs fall to the Dodgers today. They now are 22 and 36 this year in last place, and looking up at the Pittsburgh Pirates, 3.5 games in back of them. So things are a little tough at Wrigley Field, and we'll be back with the highlights coming up after these messages.
If you want the cool stuff.
Very cool.
If you want the hot stuff.
Even in sweat, she gets me hot.
If you want the funny stuff.
Hey, well, who doesn't? Piston fans.
Step up to a different world.
We are here to load up on fun so we won't need to have any when we're married.
A full hour of fun.
What is it about this time of the year that turns these children into babbling fools?
A different world. Starting Monday at 5 on WGN.
This is a first for New York Carpet World, so listen carefully. A total sale with huge savings on carpet, padding, labor, and you don't bring money. This is so important, let me repeat it. Carpet 50% off, styles and colors galore, 50% off. Then padding free and labor on sale. And so you don't miss this great offer, there's no money down, no interest, and no payments until next year. It's like having free carpet till 1995. Amazing, but it's only through Saturday. Get to New York Carpet World now.
Now get America's #1 selling minivans in time for summer. The Chrysler Plymouth Minivan Vacation Celebration. Air and automatic at no extra charge and $500 cash back on Plymouth Voyager. Prices as low as $15,580. And on Grand Voyager and Chrysler Town and Country, get cash back and option discounts of up to $1063. Plus, up to $1,000 in option package values on Voyager and Grand Voyager. The Minivan Vacation Celebration at the Minivan Store at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
In the 6th inning of a scoreless game, Rick Wilkins wants it inside. But he probably wanted it a little higher than this, as Steve Traxel makes his only mistake of the day, and Tim Wallach makes him pay. A 2-run bomb, his 15th of the year. He's now driven in 47 runs. And, folks, I think you're looking at the comeback player of the year, because Wallach had 3 years in a row where he hit just .220. And this is a renaissance year for him. And with a shutout in the ninth inning, the Cubs try to come back. Sammy Sosa driving in his 34th run of the year as he drives it through the left side. Wallach playing the line, trying to guard against the double. And Corey Snyder gets it back in, but unfortunately, Glenn Allen Hill on the first pitch hit it right back at Kevin Gross. The game was over, and Gross went the distance. So stay with us. We'll tell you about the matchups tonight after these messages.
Now get America's #1 selling minivans in time for summer. The Chrysler Plymouth Minivan Vacation Celebration. Air and automatic at no extra charge and $500 cash back on Plymouth Voyager. Prices as low as $15,580. And on Grand Voyager and Chrysler Town & Country, get cash back and option discounts of up to $1063. Plus, up to $1,000 in option package values on Voyager and Grand Voyager. The Minivan Vacation Celebration at the Minivan Store at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
When introduced, Chrysler Concorde was named Automobile of the Year. Now it comes with the lease of the year, only $269 a month. With Concorde, you get the protection of anti-lock brakes and dual airbags, the comfort of air conditioning, 4-speed automatic transmission, power windows, and more. And now you get it for only $269 a month. Chrysler Concorde, an eloquent expression of form following function. Now for only $269 a month.
There's a first-place tie in the National League Central. That's between Cincinnati and Houston. And 3 games back, the St. Louis Cardinals, who travel to Philadelphia. And it's the Red Baron, Rick Sutcliffe, at 2-2. And Williams going to the mound for Philadelphia. He's 2-2. Surprising Colorado, who is playing pretty good ball, just 2.5 games in back of the Dodgers. 3 games after their win today. They travel to Cincinnati. And it's Harris at 3-4 against Roper at 1-0. Another surprising team, the Florida Marlins. Florida playing good, solid baseball. They're 1 game over 500, but they're 8.5 games in back of Atlanta. Florida travels to Pittsburgh, and it's Hammond at 4-3 against Wagner, who's 3-4. Montreal at New York. Kenny Hill putting together a great year that probably will land him on the All-Star team. He's 8-3 in search of his 9th win. And Jones going to the mound at 6-4. And Bobby Jones, a surprise for the New York Mets. And the Mets in last place, but just 4 games under 500, although they've lost 3 in a row in 8 of their last 10. Atlanta travels to Houston in a premier matchup. John Smoltz goes to the mound at 3-6. And Doug Drabeck, another candidate for comeback player of the year, looking for win number 9. He is 8-2. San Diego at San Francisco. Hamilton going to the mound for San Diego. He's 2-0. John Burkett at 4-3 for the San Francisco Giants. And the Giants now 2.5 games in back of Los Angeles, despite the fact that they're 3 games under 500. In the American League, it's Baltimore at Boston, and Jamie Moyer goes to the mound for the Orioles. Danny Darwin pitching for Boston. Boston comes in 2 games in back of New York. New York is really slumping of late. They've lost 3 games in a row. They've lost 8 of their last 10, and they travel to Toronto, and it's usually a pretty good series when the Yankees go north of the border. Abbott going to the mound for the Yankees. He's 6-4, and Todd Stottlemyre going to the mound for Toronto. He's 4-4. Cleveland with Nagy going to the mound at 5-3, and the Indians a surprise team. In fact, Cleveland just 2 games in back of the White Sox. Bob Scanlon getting a rare start for Milwaukee. He's 0-3. The White Sox at Minnesota, Jack McDowell at 3-7 going to the mound against Erickson, who's 5-5. Minnesota beat the White Sox yesterday, and Minnesota has some offense, especially in their park. Apier at 5-5 as Kansas City going to Texas against Kevin Brown, who's 4-7. And Moore at 6-4. At McGrain 2-2. Detroit at California. Oakland at Seattle. Welch going to the mound at 1-5 against Randy Johnson at 7-3. So that's it from Wrigley Field, and we'll see you tomorrow with leadoff man at 1 o'clock as the Cubs once again take on the Dodgers. So long, everybody.
The 10th inning has been brought to you by your local Chrysler Plymouth dealer.